particularly the players and officials.
Well, a very warm welcome to Worcestershire County Cricket Club. Resplendent conditions, glorious conditions for the third final of the Charlotte Edwards Cup. We've got the Eliminator first up later on, the final at 4 o'clock, where the Blaze will will play the winner of the Eliminator, and that Eliminator is taking place between the Southern Vipers and also the North West Thunder. Conditions couldn't be more perfect for this third round. The Thunder have never been in a finals day for all of the incantations through the WSL, through the Rachel Hayhoe Flint and the Charlotte Edwards Cup. The Southern Vipers, meanwhile, well, they're old hands at this. They have only missed out on one ever finals day, depending on the competition. Well, let's get some views ahead of today's first game from the two coaches. We'll hear from Paul Shaw from the North West Thunder in a few moments' time. But first, Charlotte Edwards.
We're joined by Charlotte Edwards, the coach of the Southern Vipers. First of all, Lottie, this is, I guess, the target for this competition, first and foremost. Get here. How excited are you about the prospect of, I guess, having a semi-final to get through as well today?
Yeah, really exciting, and what a wonderful venue as well, Worcester. So yeah, you know, it's been a hard-fought sort of few weeks for, I think, all the teams to get here. So really pleased to be here, and hopefully, yeah, we play 2 games today and obviously retain our trophy. We
know that Blaze obviously have won 7 out of 7, but of course the rest of it, as you say, has been very competitive. It wasn't decided till the last round of matches who was actually going to be here, which is different to how it's been in the past.
Absolutely, you know, it went down to the wire. I think Blaze have been the standout team throughout the comp, and they're the team to beat today. But you know, Thunder did brilliantly to get here. We sort of snuck through as well. So yeah, it's been a great sort of tournament so far, and hopefully today is going to be even better.
We've had a couple of great headers, double headers down at the Aegeus Bowl, which has been brilliant. Obviously one of them was against Thunder, who you beat relatively comfortably. Different personnel today, so are we reading too much into that game?
No, we're not at all. I think throughout this comp, I think there's been England players in and out, and I think that's been a challenge for those teams. But today's a blank canvas, isn't it? We're all nearly at full strength, and so yeah, I think yeah, hopefully, you know, we'll come out on top today, but we know it's going to be a tough proposition against a good Thunder team.
And as you mentioned there, the England players coming in and out, what challenge is that for you as a coach and for some of the players who are coming in and out, I guess, when those England players come back as well?
Well, last night was pretty tough, telling people who've played the whole comp that they're not going to play today, so that's always a challenge for a coach. But I think, you know, you're preparing people to play each an individual game, and we knew that in I guess when the tournament set out. But yeah, we've been very adaptable, and players have played a massive part in us being here today. So it's been a real squad effort, and yeah, and hopefully, you know, we'll play well again today.
And obviously the experience has led the way with the bat and ball. Georgia Adams, we know, the captain, what she can do, leading run scorer, one of them in the competition. Lindsay Smith, best economy rate in the competition as well. Having her in the team this year as a new addition has obviously been an obvious benefit for you.
Yeah, we've had some, you know, standout performers, but as I said, it has been a real squad effort. Contributions throughout. Georgia's led the way with the bat and Lindsay with the ball, but you know, Anya Shrubsole last weekend, and young players like Mary Taylor have come in and given a great account of themselves. So I think that's been the lovely thing about this comp, is that the fact that we have been able to give opportunity to squad players, and they've really stood up. So I'm really pleased coming in today, and you just hope you play well on finals day.
And lastly, do you ever get used to seeing your name on the cup? Ever?
No, I'm still quite embarrassed by it. Honoured, of course, to be here today, but yeah, the girls give me a lot of jip about it. But yeah, hopefully they can lift it today.
That's great, Lottie. Thank you very much. Brilliant. Thanks so much. Go well. We're joined by Paul Shaw, coach of Thunder. Paul, first finals day for Thunder. How are you and the squad feeling?
Yeah, look, I think it's going to be a great occasion. The squad are going really well. The last few games have gone well. We've got a little bit of momentum, so hopefully we'll bring that momentum into the day today. We know it's going to be a really tough game against Vipers, and Charlotte Edwards, former captain and coach when I was with England just a few years ago. So it's nice to be in a challenge with Charlotte.
And of course, as we say, it's her cup, so it's nice. Probably nice to turn her over in it, I suppose. What about your competition? Because everyone's well documented. You didn't get off to the start you were looking for, but how impressed have you been with the mentality that your squad have shown in coming back from that?
Yeah, I think they've shown tremendous character and determination and quite a lot of fight. The environment that the players and the staff have created is a really good one, and really pleased with the bounce back performances. So the last 5 games we've won 4 of those, so as I said, let's hope that the momentum we can take into today.
And it isn't a long competition, is it? If you do get off to a bad start, you have got to turn it around pretty quickly. That's exactly what you guys have done to be here.
Absolutely, yeah. We lost the first 2, we managed to turn it around, get in a bit of a roll, so yeah, all credit to the players and to the staff for creating the environment to enable them to bounce back.
And that's great on finals day to have a number of England players available. I know not every player is available to every club, but you've got Sophie Eccleston, you've got Emma Lamb. What challenges does that give you as a coach, I guess, in terms of selection, balance of the team, all those kind of things?
Yeah, in terms of balance of the team, it's an interesting one, but I think we've got an environment where both Lammy and Eccles just fit straight back in. They'll be really clear on their roles, and the players around them will be clear as well. So it's just great to have them back, 2 quality players, and hopefully that rubs off on some of our younger players as well, because we do have a young squad.
Yeah, and that's the thing, I guess, for a team like yours, where you have got those young players, to every game they play with Sophie Eccleston, Emma Lamb, those kind of players, has got to be a massive learning curve.
Absolutely, and it's the conversations around the game as well. Sometimes when they're batting in the middle or in the dressing room, the conversations and the insight that those 2 players shared is really important. And it's a journey that the Thunder are on, and it's great to be here, and I'm sure that both Soph and Lammy will be looking forward to playing well today.
And just finally, obviously you and the Vipers are both looking to have 2 games today. You've got 1 at the moment. How much have you, I guess, put the final out of everybody's mind, and just as if you're here for 1 game at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a bit of a cliche, but we do take 1 game at a time, and you look at today and you can't really think about the final. You just go, let's really focus on this and getting a performance in this one, and then we'll pick up straight after the game regarding the next game if we get there.
Brilliant, Paul.
Well, the thoughts of Charlotte Edwards and Paul Shaw ahead of the game. 2 very nervous coaches, I imagine. Paul Shaw, the first time he's been there with the Thunder, and Charlotte Edwards, well, she's an old hand when it comes to finals days and eliminators. Well, the toss took place around about 25 minutes or so ago. Chris Temple was with the 2 captains. So, toss having been won by the Northwest Thunder, they elected to bowl first on beautiful day here at New Road, Worcester. Looking absolutely resplendent. A little worry about some potential thunderstorms in the afternoon, but we're staying positive, and fingers crossed we'll get an uninterrupted day of cricket. So let me go through just some of the team changes for the 2 sides. Lancashire Thunder have 2 returning England players. Sophie Eccleston and Emma Lamb come back in. Seren Smale and Sophie Morris miss out. As for the Southern Vipers, well, out go Emily Windsor, Nancy Harmon and Alice Monaghan. And in come a dynamic trio of Maya Bouchier, Danny Wyatt and Charlie Dean. And it is Bouchier and Wyatt who will lead things off for the Vipers. And it seems as though Sophie Eccleston will take up that mantle. So it's going to be an all-England affair to kick things off here in the Eliminator. Alongside me, a very warm welcome to Ailish Cranston, a 3-time winner of a variety of different competitions. She'll get Ailish's thoughts in just a moment. But first off, Eccleston to start things off. And the first runs of the afternoon, and it has just ticked over to the afternoon. Good afternoon, Ailish.
Good afternoon. Really happy to be here. Lovely weather, and it's going to be a really exciting day.
Yeah, I think it will be. Rather be playing though, wouldn't you?
Maybe. Unfortunately didn't make it this year, but yeah, it's going to be a great day regardless.
Just fed through, and that might just have enough energy to get to the boundary rope. The chase is forlorn. The first boundary comes by the way of a square cut from Maya Bouchier. Just a little bit of width offered from Sophie Eccleston.
Yeah, it's looking
just fed through.
It's looking like a really good wicket.
Might just have enough energy to get
really
to the boundary rope.
And
the chase is forlorn. The first boundary
to move back, and yeah, she played a lovely shot there, just backward a point for 4.
Better. Little straighter. Neatly played by Bouchier. So Ailish Cranston, WSL winner. Remember when it was back in the Super League in 2018? Charlotte Edwards Cup winner in 2021 with the Stars, and 100 winner in 2022. Basically, the best all-rounder we could possibly find on a day like today that wasn't involved in the Eliminator or the final. A little bit of extra bounce from Eccleston.
Yeah, nice to have won a variety of competitions. Like I said, shame as stars we couldn't make it here today, but yeah, it's going to be a good day.
A little bit more air, and that's neatly played by Wyatt. Using what pace there is, Dottin couldn't cut it off. Another long chase on the boundary edge. Will get flicked back, but not before Bouchier manages to come back for a third.
Yeah, it looks like Eccleston's just missing her length a little bit here. When she's got it fuller, it's definitely looked a bit tougher. But yeah, batters are moving really well at the start of the game.
Unusually expensive so far. 9 runs conceded from the first 5 balls. Beautiful connection from Bouchier, but could only find mid-off the tall, looming figure of Mahika Kaur. End of the first over. 9 without loss are the Vipers. And the England players, some of whom have been released from duty. No Kate Cross for the Thunder today. Are you a little surprised? I was surprised / delighted that as many England players were made available for this weekend, or for today's game with the Ashes looming.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's actually been an amazing thing of this competition. The England players have been able to play most of the games, which has just been fantastic. It's brought the standard up and just meant that, you know, every game has been an amazing game. Us actually at the Stars, we've only played 1 game that didn't go down to the last over, so it just shows how much competition there is out there this year.
Yeah, it also shows it's those narrow margins, isn't it, of actually playing in the final. I don't want to continue to say that you're not, but it is those small margins. Couldn't wait to watch Mahika Kaur bowl. Here she is. A nice carry through as well. So much spoken about Mahika Kaur. I watched her in the under-19 T20 World Cup over in South Africa. She was representing the UAE, but she is eligible to play for England. Still very tender in years, but there's a lot to like about her, isn't there?
Yeah, for sure. She's opened in every single game for the Thunder so far. Lovely length and always shaping the ball nicely into the batter.
Just darting back in, she was excited. Little bit too much height. That's the problem when you are as tall as she. You'll get that little bit of extra bounce. And especially bowling to... This is, well, arguably the tallest player in the competition against one of the smallest. It's worked away. Might be a second on here, despite... despairing dive. Right, comfortably home. What's it like facing her then, Mahika Kaur?
Yeah, I mean, you know, definitely formidable force running in. Can give you a mean bouncer, like you said, with her height. But I think at the moment, you know, she's just putting it on such a great length, and that shape into the batter always just makes things really difficult. But yeah, she's looking really strong here already.
A little bit too short, and she saw it early. Danny Wyatt smacked away through the mid-wicket region. First boundary conceded from Kaur.
Danny Wyatt's just been in such good form already this season, especially in the Charlotte Edwards Cup. And like you said, you miss your length by about a metre, and she jumps on it straight away for the boundary.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well, especially with young, quick bowlers. I found this myself and around the game for quite a while. Sometimes it can be a bit floaty. Oh, that's nice. Big swing and a miss. But yeah, young fast bowlers can tend, you know, when she bangs a bouncer and she bowls it, you mean it, you hit it into the surface. But then when you then pitch it up that little bit fuller, you sometimes feel that bowler can just place it there rather than bowling it with the same kind of ferocity as the bouncer.
Definitely, and I'm sure that's something that she's going to be working on in the years to come.
Where's that swing now? It started leg stumpish. Liberty Heap at mid-wicket. Another one we saw at the World T20 over in South Africa. Second over gone, 7 runs conceded, 16 without loss, and a positive start here for the Vipers.
Yeah, definitely. I think they've kicked off this really well, kicked off where, you know, we expect Vipers to in this sort of scenario. Being a final, they want to put the pressure on, and they've got 2 great batters out there to do it. But yeah, they're definitely looking pretty calm and controlled at the moment, and just looking to pick up the bad ball from where they've left off.
Tara Norris is going to replace Sophie Eccleston, so left arm continues, but the pace slightly differs. So Tara Norris performed wonderfully well, United States International, and saw her in the WPL over in India. She picked up a 5-fer in her first game. Was it 5-fer? 4-fer, 5-fer?
I think so. Did she get a hat-trick as well, or is that me? Maybe she just got 5. Maybe I'm... I don't know. But she bowled very well.
You can hear my silence.
She bowled very well out there. Very well.
She did. Really did make a name. And she's got a job to do here, trying to remove these 2 key batters for the Southern Vipers. Left arm medium. That's gone fine. Fine is up inside the circle, and on this swift outfield and short straight boundaries, that'll easily run away for 4. The Vipers really not having to do anything too difficult to get the scoreboard ticking over.
Yeah, the outfield looks like it's absolutely flying, and with these seamers, they've got enough pace that just a little tickle will run off the boundary. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they go with this. You know, Tara being an ex-Viper herself, we'll see how they decide to take her on.
Little edge, no slip in place, and just falling short. Interesting, that fuller length. And the 2 fielders who are out in the deep cover and deep backward square. So, hedging the bet somewhat a little bit. And 3rd and fine, up inside the circle. That's better. Nicely played.
Yeah, just knocking it into the leg side there, looking to rotate the strike. I think that's what you'll see with these 2 batters. They'll look to punish the bad ball, but also, you know, they want to reduce the amount of dot balls that they're facing as possible. So a little drop into the leg side there was perfect just to get Bouchier back on strike.
Yeah, both have got a very busy month coming up, starting with the women's test, which is going to be at Trent Bridge. Can't wait for that one. Going to be up there. 5-day test rather than a 4-day.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see if what they do with that extra day this time. They've needed it before.
That's worked away sweetly as well from Bouchier. Just off the hip. And too far to go. Runs flowing thick and fast for the Vipers.
I think Thunder are just... you know, when they're getting it right, you can see the batters are really struggling here. They're just sort of slightly missing on their lines and lengths a little bit, and these batters are just capitalising in this power play. But if they can just get it back, I think they'll build a little bit of pressure here.
Yeah, just too many 4 balls. A couple already in this Norris over. That's better. That's your area.
Yeah, you can see Bouchier just pushing at that one slightly. And, you know, you as a batter, you're sometimes leaving the bat out there. You're not really sure where the ball's going to go. So that was a really great ball there from Norris.
Yeah, speaking of that 5-day test, it's interesting. They've needed the extra day. There was a little bit of weather around in the test match against South Africa last year. There was weather around in the test match against India at Bristol, which was a fabulous test. However, the addition of the extra day is also great to try and push for victory. It can also bite you in the bum a little bit. With the end of the 3rd over, 26 without loss, some extra time against a very strong-looking Australian side. So, so you don't know, you might be in a position where you were preferring it to be 4 days.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. But I don't know, I'm feeling really confident this year. I'm really excited to see what test squad comes out, actually. I mean, we've had some players playing so great throughout all the teams this year. I honestly don't know who they're going to pick in that side. I mean, even, for example, you look at the likes of Lauren Filer as a fast bowler for Western Storm. She's been bowling really well, and again, Alice Davidson-Richards for us has been solid in that position. So I'm just excited to see the team.
Yeah, big century for ADR in that test match against South Africa last year. Gore continues up and over the top, and that's going to race away to the boundary for 4. It's a strength of Maya Bouchier as well as Danny Wyatt, and hitting over the top, so valuable in the power play overs.
I really like that shot. She didn't hit it too hard. Just knew where she wanted to place it, and just took advantage of a ball that was on a good length. Bouchier is looking to kick on here.
Well, via our good friend Hypercourst on Twitter, and John Leather, who does so much for the women's game, he'll be watching on, no doubt. Just should be a couple. Morris on the boundary edge will do the tidying up. An errant throw, but no damage done. Just having a look at some statistics he's posted on his social media, saying no real surprise, but these 3 teams in the power play have got the best economy rate. Vipers, Blaze and Thunder in that order in the power play. Vipers 6.2 and going to the Thunder at 6.9. Although that's getting tested fairly heftily in this opening stanza. But with the bat, Vipers 3rd, going at around about 8s, just under 8 per over. But for me, that really just shows bowling does win you a lot of games in T20.
For sure, I think, even if you look at some of the 100 sides, I think sometimes people go very bat heavy, but actually the teams that have often bowled the best have actually been more successful.
This again worked away nicely from Bouchier. Should be a couple over towards the longer side. So plenty of work for Morris to be done on this boundary edge. There's lots of 2s out there, especially over towards where the pavilion is. There's a huge deal of acreage on a very strong side. Don't forget, winner of this game wins. The winner of this game gets to play against the Blaze, who are yet to be defeated in the Charlotte Edwards Cup. 7 games played, 7 victories. And there's numerous aspects to that. And up and over she goes once more. This time off slightly shorter of a length. She's picked that on the up, but committed to the shot. Shows you how good this pitch is too.
Same shot as we saw a few balls ago. Just hitting that ball that's actually a great length from Gore. So, Bouchier is clearly playing well. And like you said, the wicket's just looking fantastic. This is going to be a high-scoring game, I think.
You can see you chomping at the bit to get out there and stick the pads on. Yeah, as often as we come to an end of fairly expensive over from Mahika Gore, 12 runs coming from it, a couple of 2s, a couple of 4s. 2 overs have cost 19, with 2 overs remaining in the power play. But yeah, the Blaze will come and play at 4 o'clock against the winner of this Eliminator game, and they will come in fresh. It is energy-sapping heat out there, so when you've gone through 40 overs worth of a game before, later on, you could be a little bit jaded, but the flip side of that is you've already played on the surface, and so have got used to the conditions out there. So it's a little bit of a balance as Ailish Cranston leaves us. Joe Gardner, Sunrisers legend, alongside me. Good morning, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Daggers. That's bold, Sunrisers legend.
We're putting you in legendary status already. Naomi Datani, more left arm. Dottin patrolling the backward point. What have you made of the first 4 overs then, Joe?
Yeah, these two have batted pretty nicely, haven't they? Put the bad ball away, as I think Ailish alluded to. Looks like a decent pitch, and also a decent sized pitch as well. Like they've hit into the pockets and managed to get 2s, but they've also rotated the strike and nudged it well as well.
Yeah, it's been intelligent batting from the pair of them. That's your area. That's the area that I just don't think the Thunder have hit consistently enough.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. They've either gone pretty full or just that little bit too short, whereas that was a decent length from my former Sunrisers teammate Naomi Datani.
Good cricketer, Naomi Datani. Just starting outside leg, continuing to miss. Apart from that, half decent show. What's a personality like Naomi Datani? What gets her going?
She can be very fiery on the pitch. You know, she's a real competitor. Loves the battle, but also calm, composed head on her shoulders.
Feet again. I wondered if there was a little fingertip from Datani as it cannoned into the stumps. Had to be quick. Fortunately, Wyatt is.
That was just a classic case of their 3 dots, and then Boucher obviously struck that nicely up towards mid-off and instantly called for the run. But yeah, chance of a run-up, but I think Danny Wyatt was in her crease, to be fair, even if Datani had touched it.
Yeah, looked fairly comfortable in the end, but somehow the Thunder are going to have to conjure something to prise one of these two apart. Still quite a strong batting lineup behind them too. She's absolutely timed the pants off that. Only finds its way to mid-wicket. Just mentioned earlier on about the sides, the changes they have made. I'll quickly run through them. The Vipers, Boucher, Wyatt, McCacken, Georgia Adams, the captain. Freya Kemp in the side as just a batter, still recovering from injury, can't bowl yet. Nicely bowled from Datani. There's a little wafty from Danny Wyatt. Great to see Freya Kemp back in and playing cricket. 5 overs gone, 40 without loss. Just to finish off that Vipers team, Charlie Dean, Georgia Elwis, Fulton Smith, Taylor and Shrubsole. And Joe, you can explain why you've got a great big cast on your hand as I make way for the first time today for Mark Church.
Yeah, and I just want to dip in there. That was a really, really well bowled over from Datani there, obviously only just conceding the single off it, and considering the Vipers batters with their international class and experience have been motoring along pretty well, that was a really important over in this power play, as I welcome Mark Church to the commentary box.
Why have you got a big cast on your hand, Joe Gardner?
Well, in our game the other day at Trent Bridge against the Blaze, made a little mistake when I was fielding. Dived for the ball. Broken metacarpal.
Oh, no good. That's no good. Very good from Wyatt and Boucher so far. Very solid. Very intelligent start this from the Vipers opening pair. Morris into the attack now. So spin for the final over of the power play. And this one just pulled away down the ground towards long on. It looks a belter of a track. Quick outfield as well. But the way they've gone about this so far, as I say, has been very, very intelligent. Maya Boucher's used her feet a couple of times to get down the pitch, to get to the bowler. But I would have thought the Vipers dugout are very happy with this start. Thunder will be a little concerned at the moment. Wyatt just working this one down the ground towards mid-on. Nice start this from Morris on a good line and a good length. Crowd building up as the morning has gone on. I'll be interested to see what the crowd's like for the final. This is short and pulled away by Wyatt. Hasn't really got hold of that. Just be a single out to sweeper on the mid-wicket boundary. But I think the crowd will build up all day. It's the perfect day to come and watch some cricket, isn't it?
It's glorious, yeah. I think I saw that the Blaze have actually been... They're running a coach from Trent Bridge to get their fans down here, so touche for that.
Your geography is much better than mine. Now that's just a full toss that will be put away by Bouchier. It's been a good over up to this point from Morris. Gave that one a little more air, and Bouchier's just picked that up and swung it away to the boundary rope for 4. And this start gets even better for the Vipers. 46 without loss, with 1 ball to go in the power play. They'll be absolutely delighted with this start, I'm sure. There's Maya Bouchier again, using her feet. Gorgeous shot. Feet made that shot. Just dances down the pitch. Gets to the ball on the bounce and then drives it beautifully away through extra cover to bring up the 50. And that's just about perfect, Joe Gardner. Power play, 6 overs gone. Final ball of the power play, you bring up the 50. This is a very, very good start from the Vipers.
Yeah, it's been an excellent start, and so using her feet there, Boucher, is something that she's done so well. A real strength of hers. Been every time I've seen her bat this year, she's been timing it really nicely. But yeah, they'll be thrilled with this start. I think that's only the second time that Thunder haven't managed to take a wicket in the power play this year. So obviously, be looking to try and break the partnership sooner rather than later. That's for sure.
Thunder obviously confident of chasing in the fact that they won the toss and stuck the Vipers in on what looks a very good surface. What they can't afford to happen is this gets out of control. So we're out the power play, start of the 7th over. And Ditani just on the hip there of Danny White, who helps that one down towards fine leg. They'll pick up a single. 1 more to the total. But yeah, it is a perfect day for finals day. It really is. Always lovely to come to New Road. I took a photo of the river and the cathedral this morning. Didn't need to put a filter on it, Joe Gardner. The picture told its own story. But it's a wonderful, wonderful view. Again, this one just on the pads of Maya Bouchier means that she can tuck that away for another single. But the cathedral overlooking the ground. It's sort of the traditional and the modern now, with the hotel and the new pavilion away to our left hand side. But I'm not sure there are many better views in cricket. Wyatt, that's a nice looking shot. Just picks this up, flicks it with the bottom hand, time that beautifully, and that will roll across the boundary rope for 4 more, despite the best efforts of Heat to get there. It's just beautifully timed again by Danny White. And this is the problem for Thunder at the moment. They just cannot get any control out there, can they?
No, and to be honest, it wasn't that bad a delivery. It was slightly full, if anything, but Danny White's class really just shown in that shot. Really just managed to pick out that kind of mid-wicket pocket with her bottom hand.
Bit of length from Ditani. White just trying to run that one down to 3rd. Won't get a run on this occasion, then just practices getting that a little bit finer. What they're doing here is building the perfect platform for the Vipers. Exactly what you're looking for when you get stuck in by the opposition. Wyatt, was a bit of a naughty shot that from Danny Wyatt, going across her. Feet didn't really go anywhere there. Just swung the bat at that. If she got a nick on that, Joe Gardner, she'd have been a little annoyed with herself, I think.
Yeah, and you just saw on the replay her rehearsing, trying to get her foot a bit more across to where the ball obviously ended up going, but it's a strong area for Wyatt.
Slower ball this time from Ditani, nicely bowled, nicely played by Wyatt. Just pushes this out into the offside, and they'll pick up a single. The other thing I've noticed with these two is they've tended to find a run off the good balls as well, haven't they? So they put the bad ball away, but they've also been finding singles off the good balls. And 7 gone, apologies, and 57 without loss, the Vipers.
Yeah, the Thunder have struggled to kind of string dots together, and I guess that is what makes it a lot easier for a batting team when you're able to just rotate the strike and get your innings really kicking on. You're not putting too much pressure on yourself by having those strings of dots building up. But Sophie Eccleston's come back into the attack now, and she's obviously, we know how classy she is, and she'll be looking to try and get that breakthrough with one of her England teammates.
Well, this is where the #1 ranked bowler in the world needs to pick up a wicket. That's why you go to Eccleston, wearing the red boots there to go with the red kit, all matching. Very de rigueur these days, isn't it, to have the matching boots?
Yeah, it's very spicy. Although I'm sure a lot of the guys in the men's game, I'm sure they don't get them matching with their kit to just stand out that little bit more. Sam Curran, someone that springs to mind. Obviously, you see a lot of Sam Curran, Churchy.
I think you've got to be able to back it up, haven't you? Because if you're wearing brightly coloured boots, it's easy to spot you in the field. Slog sweep out straight away by Danny Wyatt. That's really well played. That's not letting Eccleston settle. Straight away, down on one knee, and slog sweeping. And got good contact on that. Very good bit of batting, because what that does is it just makes Sophie Eccleston think, doesn't it? First ball, swung away for 4.
Yeah, and Eccleston will obviously know Danny Wyatt's strength is often through the offside, and getting her to sweep will...
This one beats the edge. Nicely bowled, and you can see Wyatt there indicating it's just gone away from her and bounced. Nice bit of bowling from Eccleston. Good response to the boundary by Danny Wyatt. Eccleston, as you can see, bowling in her sunglasses. Needs them today. This has gone straight up in the air. Will get away with it, Danny Wyatt. Looking to go inside out over extra cover. Thickish edge, but it lands safely. And Wyatt will move on to 28. And again, she's just chatting to Maya Bouchier about what Eccleston is doing with this. Just finding a little bit of something now in this over. Sophie Eccleston, if anybody's going to, it'll be Sophie Eccleston. Beautiful action. As round the wicket she comes. Bouchier swings this high in the air. One bounce. Out towards deep mid-wicket. They'll pick up another single. What you can see here, Joe Gardner, is they've obviously had a chat about it. And they've said when Eccleston comes on, don't let her bowl at us. We are going to look to try and get after Sophie Eccleston. It's a gorgeous shot from Wyatt. Little bit short, little bit wide, and cut away by Danny Wyatt. And that delivery has come from the way they've played her in the previous 4 balls.
Yeah, absolutely. They haven't let her settle, have they? Obviously, I've spoken about it before, but it's an area where Danny Wyatt's really strong through that kind of point area, and yeah, just got it forward enough to evade Dot in there at backward point.
Just lovely placement. Last ball of the over. Slog sweep is out again. Well, I say slog sweep, more paddle sweep actually, and it's beautifully played again by Danny Wyatt. And that was just all about control. Just little paddle sweep. Fine leg on the edge of the circle. They have just not let Eccleston bowl here. Joe Gardner, thank you very much indeed. Joe with us throughout the day, of course. Oh, careful there with your hand. I'll hold that microphone for you. Sophie Luff is coming in to join us. Western Storm Sophie Luff. But this is a great start for the Vipers. 71 without loss. There you go. You can see the hotel now. That's sort of the modern that goes with the traditional here at New Road, Worcester. You see people dotted around in front of that hotel, watching away. Very nice that you can come and stay in the ground as well. I always think that's a very nice touch. Sophie Luff, good morning, good afternoon as it is now to you. Lovely to see you, and this is a great start for the Southern Vipers. The Thunder have got a slight problem at the moment, haven't they?
Yeah, afternoon, Churchy. Great to be here, and yeah, Thunder will be desperate for a wicket at this moment in time. Obviously a great partnership so far for Southern Vipers. Wyatt and Bouchier almost matching each other out there. Hit boundaries well and run well between the wickets
they
as
have.
well.
And what I was saying to Joe there was they've sort of found singles off the good deliveries as well. So Olivia Bell is greeted by Maya Bouchier by going straight down the ground again. 2 bounces for 4. So there is no time to settle. That's a gorgeous shot again.
Yeah, brilliant shot there by Maya. Just accessing so much space. I think that's the thing in the women's game, we can only have 4 out, so there's always going to be some space to access, and you know, when you're bowling at world-class players as you are these two, they can do that with ease.
Short delivery this time is pulled away by Bouchier. They should get a couple. They do get a couple because Naomi Datani slides round to do the fielding, but good running again. Hammered the first run, got back for the second. So for Olivia Bell, 2 balls, a 4 and a 2. And 77 without loss. Bell with her off breaks. That one just beats the edge as Bouchier's looking to run that down to third. Just got a little bit too clever there. Bouchier saw her head go to the heavens after playing that shot. Straight back down the ground again by Bouchier. Beautifully timed. Just a single though, with the long off and the long on in there. But again, it's a gorgeous looking shot straight down the ground.
Yeah, she's able to access that sight screen region really well, and yeah, obviously even with long on and long off out on the boundary, if you can hit the sight screen, then yeah, you're going to be accessing maybe a boundary, or just like they did there, fielder coming round, just accessing a single.
Tell you something, this is the perfect pitch for finals day. An absolute belter of a wicket. Oh, Danny Wyatt, behave yourself. That is a beautiful shot. Just stood up straight and drove that through cover point. It's all hands from Danny Wyatt.
Just look at the hand speed there. Like, that's where Danny Wyatt's so strong, isn't it? Through that offside and through that cover region. But the way that she's played this innings so far, especially accessing that sweep shot, they've had to go with deep square out, and then that enables Danny to access other space in the ground. And yeah, it's probably dangerous not having a cover, but Thunder are having to, well, they're ringing the changes now by the looks of things. Square is going to come up into the ring, and they are going to put cover on the boundary, which I think is probably a good decision. I think you'd rather see Wyatt sweeping.
Just been such intelligent batting so far. Wyatt 40 off 28 deliveries. Wyatt sweeps again, top edge. Oh, and that's just going to get over the top of short fine, and that'll run away for 4. So, as Sophie Luff said, you'd rather have Danny Wyatt sweeping than driving. She's taken that from outside her off stump, watching the replay, and it wasn't too far away from the short fine, but it runs away for 4, 9 gone. And the Vipers 86 without loss, but absolute case in point there from you, Sophie Luff.
Yeah, it wasn't convincing, but obviously she picks up 4, and I guess there's a little bit of risk reward going on with Danny out there. But you know, when you face 29 balls and you've got 44 on the board, you're probably going to chance your arm. Vipers are in a very strong position, and difficult now for the Thunder bowlers. They're going to have to, I think Ellie Threlkel's going to have to chop and change here and just try and find a formula that gets her a wicket.
Absolutely, because I suppose Wyatt and Bouchier will be saying to themselves, just keep going. Ideally, nobody else will come out and have a bat. That would be the ideal. These two would still be there at the end of 20 overs. But yeah, Thunder have got a headache here, because if they keep going at this rate, Thunder will be chasing a huge total. I know it's a good pitch, but as you've said, they've just manipulated the field, haven't they? They really have. So 10th over to be bowled by Norris. Just making sure she gets her field exactly how she wants it. There's a deep backward square. There's a sweeper on the cover fence. Fine leg and a long on. And Bouchier just tucking the first ball elegantly into the leg side. That will just be the single. Fee Morris out there doing the sweeping up. They could even just have a breather for an over here if they wanted to, Wyatt and Bouchier, but at the moment they are just in complete control of this. Well, that's a full toss. I think it's fair to say that's been put away, Sophie Luff, by Danny Wyatt. That's fairly dismissive. Tara Norris not getting that one right at all, but it is put away in emphatic fashion by Danny Wyatt.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes The full toss, low full tosses can be a dangerous ball, but not when you're bowling at someone of Danny Wyatt's ability. She's definitely going to put that away. And yeah, Vipers creeping into the 90s now. That 100 partnership is not far away at all.
Better from Norris. Wyatt just looking to cut a ball that was probably not short enough to cut. Beautifully taken behind the sticks as well by the captain, who's got a bit on her plate at the moment. She really has. Keeping wicket and trying to work out how she is going to break this opening partnership between Danny Wyatt and Maya Bouchier. Goes past the edge again. Better from Norris. Wyatt there was really trying to hit that hard. Just lost her shape a touch there, Sophie Luff, looking to go inside out over extra cover.
Yeah, which is what she wants to do, isn't it? Obviously, Norris has got mid-off up in the ring. She obviously aired with that full toss earlier and got punished there, but she's trying to keep mid-off up in the ring for as long as possible here.
Almost took herself off her feet there, Danny Wyatt. Smash that into the hotel, which is extra cover for her at the moment. I just think it must be nice, actually. I've done it a couple of times at the Aegeus Bowl. You sort of wake up in the morning, pull open your curtains, and there's the ground. Nice commute to the commentary box, I have to say. It's nicely bowled again by Norris, but beautifully played by Wyatt. And obviously there's a single there now because she's got the sweeper out on the cover boundary rope. I did actually at the Aegeus Bowl once pace out my walk to work from my hotel room. 26 paces it was from hotel door to commentary gantry.
It's not bad at all, is it?
And I was still there 3 hours early, as usual. Good shot from Bouchier off her length, just going up and over the top, down to Tani at long on. But again, it's a good delivery, and they found a single. So that's the halfway point. Southern Vipers 93 without loss. Sophie Luff, some thoughts from you on what we've seen from Messrs Wyatt and Bouchier and what the Thunder can do to break this partnership. And then you'll be joined for the first time today by Michael McCann.
Thanks, Churchy. Yeah, pretty tidy over there by Tara Norris, which is what the Thunder needed. If they can't pick up wickets here, then restricting the Vipers' batters is as good as it gets at the minute. Closed the over out very nicely, and yeah, Wyatt and Bouchier just receiving a drink from, I think it's 12th there is Nancy Harmon doing the duties. But yeah, these two obviously creeping up to that 100 partnership and looking a pretty formidable duo in the middle as Michael joins me.
Good afternoon. It's a well-earned drink for those openers, isn't it? They've batted magnificently. When you think that the Vipers' biggest partnership in the entire competition was 56 coming into today, they hadn't really built their success off one particularly big stand through the order, but that has all changed here. Wyatt 1 off her 50 and Bouchier 2 off her best in the competition so far this season. So how do they break it?
Yeah, I'm just chatting to Churchy there, and I just think Threlkeld's got to ring the changes and chop and change. I don't think you can bowl bowlers, 2 overs in a row. Batters will just line them up, and especially these two have been out there for 10 overs already. They've got the pace of the wicket, and yeah, it looks a pretty decent wicket. It's a shame I'm not out there batting, to be honest.
Here's Mahika Gore, 2 overs so far for the teenage sensation, wicketless for 19. Extraordinary story as to how she was discovered by chance, really, when Lancashire were overdoing an event in Dubai. This beautiful, clean, smooth left arm over action. Steps down the track, smashes it down the ground, and that's a 1 bounce 4. It was almost 6. What a beautiful shot from Maya Bouchier. The mighty Bouche is having quite the day out here.
Yeah, I'm just not sure that's the length you can bowl with mid-on up in the ring to someone like Bouchier, who is looking to hit as straight as possible. I think Thunder would have done their analysis on her, but I don't think this is the right field set to someone like Bouchier, the way that she's striking the ball.
What would you alter? It always looks so easy from up here, of course, for us, but
yeah, I mean, it looks like Cover's going to come up into the ring now, and I think I would go with that. I'm not sure what variations Gore's got up her sleeve, but I'd probably look to try and take pace off to someone like Bouchier, who's, you know, she wants to go hard at the ball. So changing your pace and bowling a few cutters, back of the hand, if you have that in your locker, I think that's going to be the most effective in setting your field straight.
One boundary from her 50. She won't get it there, but she'll get another look at that one. That's wided.
And she's already made the change in terms of coming around the wicket now, so she's going to be looking to hammer the stumps, and that's why Cover's come up into the ring, because hopefully she's not going to be offering that width to get punished that way.
Yeah, she naturally gets that in swing, and then classic left armour really has got a few little variations that can go across Bouchier. Smashes it down the ground. This could be the 50 if it's not cut off. It will be the 50. What a knock from Maya Bouchier. 51 off 29 balls, the 100 up for the Vipers, who really are sinking their claws into the Thunder. They are in pole position in the Eliminator, 102 without loss. Now, what a knock from Maya Bouchier.
Yeah, all class there by Bouchier. She's played incredibly well. I think, you know, it's always easier when you've got a partner going well at the other end as well, and they've built this partnership beautifully. That's the 100 partnership up as well, as she brings up her half century. So, yeah, well played to these two.
It's the 6th 100 partnership in the Charlotte Edwards Cup this season. Gore now coming left arm around. Just worked away. Might think of 2 here. They'll settle for 1. So now Wyatt has the chance to take herself to the 50 mark as well.
Yeah, I think Thunder, I can see what Gore's trying to do there. She's trying to shut off half the ground, and yeah, when you can't take wickets, you're just trying to restrict the batter's scoring options, and yeah, trying to give yourself the best option as a bowler to try and restrict those teams.
Worked away by Wyatt. This will be the 50. A nice comfortable single to get there. It is a 34 ball 50 for Danny Wyatt. Ominous signs here for the Thunder. Her 2nd half century in this competition this season, and it comes up in very good time as well.
Yeah, it's not often that Wyatt is outscored, but Bouchier's gone a little better in terms of only the 30 balls for her 50. But yeah, Wyatt has played exceptionally well as well.
Goes again, hard, and it might have just been, well, even a quarter of a chance at cover, but it was hit extremely hard through that region, and it is yet another boundary for the Vipers. Did get 2 hands to it. It would have been a bit of a specky though there.
Yeah, I think that's Emma Lamb in there. Would have been a great catch. Bouchier's got a lot of power, so that was struck pretty hard. She's already sat on the ring as well, Lamb there, so giving herself the best opportunity to take those.
Steps deep in her crease, skies this up. This could finally be the wicket the Thunder wanted. It is. Frelkel makes no mistake, and having gone for 15 across the over, Mahika Gore keeps her composure, holds her nerve, and finally it is a desperately needed breakthrough for the Thunder. 108 for 1, and Maya Bouchier has to go for a mightily impressive 56.
Yeah, credit to Gore there. She's had a pretty tough over there, but she's fought back well, and yeah, probably deserves the wicket of Bouchier there, who's played brilliantly. Looks like it's going to be the Viper skipper, Georgia Adams, coming up slightly higher than what was carded, but obviously Viper's in a great position here.
Yeah, and what a player to come in as well. Known as a serial first-time winner, the KSL back in 2016, the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy in 2020, the 100 in 2021, the Sussex skipper. You might even go so far as to say if there is one player that is almost synonymous with women's cricket in that region, you're nodding next to me, Sophie Love.
Yeah, Georgia's been around. She won't mind me saying this because we're the same age and we've played a lot of cricket together actually over the years in England age groups and up through the pathways, so she won't mind me saying that she's been around a long time. But yeah, like you say, synonymous with cricket in the south, and I know how much it means to her to be representing the Vipers, and especially at another finals day. And
just what you want when you get the breakthrough. Somebody comes out who smashed 63 not out of 33 on Wednesday against the Sunrisers.
yeah, she's in pretty good form as well, and that's what you want in this situation. Yes, losing a wicket, but when you've got players coming in good form as well, and yeah, Vipers obviously bat deep anyway, so yeah, as much as Thunder will be delighted with that wicket, they've obviously got a few more batters to get rid of first.
Now here's Tara Norris, who has been quite the story. USA international after an unexpected phone call during the 100 last summer. Star of fair break as well. The star of Thunder's campaign. In she charges, left arm around. Just played away to dot in. And there was just a sliver of a chance of a run out there. Had to scurry back into her ground. Wyatt. Who will really want to bat through here, and if she does, might not be far off a ton. Goes deeper in her crease and just flicks this away. Straight at square leg, which brings on to strike the aforementioned Adams, the second highest run scorer in this competition. Will be eyeing taking top spot today. Just having a quick word with Wyatt before facing up.
Yeah, this is an opportunity for Thunder to create a little bit more pressure. You know, you can bring, you know, maybe an extra player into the ring just for a couple of balls to try and create that pressure on Adams. Definitely mid-wicket and extra cover can get in a little bit tighter and make sure they're squeezing the Vipers skipper here.
Switch to left arm over. And exactly as you mentioned, managed to get a dot in early on Adams.
And I think Norris here will probably just be trying to bowl her best ball. You've got a new batter on strike. Yes, T20 cricket's synonymous with a lot of variations, but I think when you've got a new batter to the crease, you just want to bowl your best ball as a bowler first up.
Adams will get off the mark now. And the beautiful thing for Adams in this situation is she doesn't really need to initially force it too much. Can just work her way into the innings and let Wyatt keep going hard at the other end.
Yeah, absolutely. And Georgia has played a lot of cricket, so she'll be really experienced in this situation to know that she just needs to tick the strike over and let Danny face as many balls as possible, and that gives Georgia the opportunity to just settle herself in, and then, you know, when the deliveries present themselves that she can strike to the boundary, I'm sure she'll capitalise as well.
Well, that's not the best delivery and helped on its way. This will be a boundary to break what had been a really good over until that point. It is leg buys. Vipers won't care how they come though. Well, you can't even say shackles, but 2 off 4 becomes 6 off 5.
Yeah, you can just see Danny Wyatt stepping outside leg stump there and really giving herself a lot of room. And Norris, in fairness, just tried to follow the batter and yeah, just maybe followed her a little bit too much. And yeah, leg buys was the call, and 4 of them as well. The runs keep on coming.
Yeah, Ellie Frabkeld is a magnificent keeper, but even she can do nothing about that. Fine leg has gone back now. And that is a good stop by Frelkel. That wasn't an easy one either. They'll scurry through for a single. Lies on the umpire. Seems to be giving his bat. End of the 12th. 115 for 1. Thanks very much to Sophie Love. And in a second, alongside me, it will be Ailish Cranston. You are watching the Charlotte Edwards Finals Day. The Vipers looking to regain, or retain their crown, I should say. Thunder very much the underdogs coming into proceedings, and the Blaze, well, you can insert all of the Blaze puns you want because they are lying in wait. They have been the blazing squad this season. They have 10 wins across 50 over and T20 cricket, 7 of those in this competition, and they await in the final at 4 p.m. Alongside me now is Eilish. What have you made of these first 12 overs or so? It's I guess the game within a game now. Is can Thunder pull this back to maybe something like 160?
Yeah, I think they need something to happen here. So bringing Sophie Eccleston on, they're looking to be able to take that wicket. Let's break this other partnership, start to break into the Vipers' middle order. But yeah, I mean that first partnership was very, very good, and it's pulled them in the front here.
Comes down the track to Eccleston, but can only hit it straight at extra cover. Yeah, just trying to see if they can maybe instigate that classic middle order collapse. That middle order have been sat watching the opening pair batting so well in the sun. Bit of pad rash. Easier said than done though. Slug sweep, mistimed by Wyatt.
Yeah, I think you look at Vipers and that's why they're so strong. That's why they've been so good over the last few years. I mean, they've got Georgia Adams to come in, Georgia Elwes. Georgia Adams in particular has been scoring a lot of runs, especially in the last few games. So
sliced away, didn't really get all of this, but it loops over the head of Dottin and it goes away for 4 through backward point. Not Danny Wyatt's cleanest strike by her extremely high standards, but still mightily effective. Yet another boundary, 123 for 1. Little England battle going on here. Eccleston versus Wyatt. Two of the best. Wyatt comes down, meets this low on the full toss. He's tried to get it through the gap between long on and deep mid wicket, and that is a magnificent piece of fielding out there from Datani, who's had to make a lot of ground and then palmed it to keep it inside the rope as well.
There's a fantastic effort there from Datani. I didn't think she was going to get there, and she just got there, got a hand on it, saved 2 runs.
Slog sweep this time. This is missed time. This will take a bit of catching though. It won't be caught. It's 6 more. It's all going the Vipers' way at the moment. And whilst Naomi Datani did her best impression of Mary Earps the previous ball, nobody could do anything about that.
Danny Wyatt's really putting the pressure on here. I think she's just looking to power on now. Georgia Adams is going to play a little assistant role here, and I think, yeah, they're really putting their foot on the pedal.
There's moments like this, it does feel quite bizarre that she wasn't picked up in the WPL. Cricket's a funny old game. Nice looking shot. Wasn't initially fielded cleanly by Olivia Bell, but she did enough to stop the scent of a run. End of another over, 127 for 1 off 13. So they've got to be looking at 200 from here.
Yeah, they have to be. They've been consistently at sort of 8s, 9s the whole game. They won't want to let that up. It's just been so impressive. They've been hitting the gaps out on the boundary throughout the whole time, really pushing those 2s. It'll be interesting to see how many 2s by the end of the game they've actually completed. Yeah,
just looking at those Thunder supporters who've made the trip down. Take nothing away from the achievement of getting here, but they are definitely finding their first ever finals day pretty tough. Indeed, actually, if you really go back, it's the first time in 8 seasons when you look at the Lancashire Thunder in the KSL or the Northwest Thunder in this competition and the 50 over one, so it's been quite a feat to make it here. Adams facing up. Worked away for 1. Adams, as we've said, quite content right now to play sort of second violin in the orchestra behind the flourishing, full of flair first violin that is Danny Wyatt right now.
It's nice to see Fee Morris come on. Hopefully she can bring a little bit of control, build a little bit of pressure. A few dot balls here, see if they can get a wicket.
Nice from Morris. Just managed to work it wide of long off. That was pretty straight. Fielded by Eccleston at the expense of a good quickly run too. Always making it home. And it's exactly what you alluded to in the previous over, that kind of hard running. I mentioned that what a feat it's been for them to get here. Fee Morris has been massive for Thunder. She's been superb with bat and ball. 4th in the PCA MVP rankings for this competition this season, heading into today. Not bad again from Morris, will only be a single.
Yeah, I think it was a really great signing from Thunder, actually. Fee Morris from Storm can bring, fantastic all-rounder, has been batting fantastically so far, and like you said, it's just so consistent with the ball. She's been invaluable for them.
Had a day out on Wednesday, 2 for 16 off 3 and 42 not out against the Diamonds. Skied away, this isn't quite timed, but it's wide of Gore. And we'll get 2 pretty comfortably against Heap. Seeing there's not really much of a hint of a short boundary here at New Road today. It's going to be a lot of hard running across this finals day. Just nibbled away. This one's a bit closer to Heap, will only be a single.
I feel it's like she's just trying to bowl a little bit more into the wicket here. Try and control the batters a bit more. Not scored a boundary yet this over, so she's doing well.
Yeah, at this point, any over without a boundary feels like a mini victory for the Thunder. Makes room, skies this out towards the sweeper. It's the classic dilemma of try and catch it or stop the boundary, and neither's ended up happening. A little bit of luck for the Vipers. Mistimed, miscued, good from Morris, who doesn't get the reward she might have deserved, and is unlucky to also concede 4.
I think that was my fault there. I called it just before it happened. But yeah, unfortunate way to end the over. She'll be disappointed in that. Like you said, it's so difficult as a fielder at this point. You know, what do you want to do? Do you want to stop 4 or take that wicket? I think going for the wicket was the right option. To get Danny Wyatt out would be massive here. So yeah.
Seemed like there was the commitment to the catch, and then just at the last minute realising it wasn't quite there. Wyatt has gone past her highest score in this competition this season, and of course has got plenty of history in this format. The second ever player to hit 2 T20I hundreds after a certain Deandra Dottin. There's Bell. Straight to point, and speaking of Dottin, takes the catch, 138 for 2. Goodness me, did Thunder need that. And it is the youngster who's been so sensational in their run to finals day, Olivia Bell, who picks up the breakthrough.
Yep, Olivia Bell doing what she does best. She's got 5 wickets in the last 2 games for the Thunder, so it's a great timing there from Ellie Farrell to bring her on and get another wicket.
So that is the end of Georgia Adams. Has to go for 5. And out comes Freya Kemp, teenage sensation, second youngest player to ever hit half century in a T20I for England, 51 off 35 against India. So there is really no respite here for the Thunder.
Yeah, you can see what the Vipers are trying to do here. They're going all attack. Freya Kemp's a great hitter of the ball, great ball striker. She can play well straight through mid-wicket, a really strong power hitter. So it looks like Vipers are just trying to go for it a bit here.
And why not? When you've got the platform that is that century-plus opening partnership. Bell trying to find the answers, the Scottish offie. She again is a massive reason they got here. 3 for 9 off 3 overs against local rivals the Diamonds on Wednesday in that game that isn't technically Yorkshire versus Lancashire, but certainly still has the vibes of it. Nice looking straight drive against Bell.
Nice way to get off the mark, that.
Yeah, that is a very classy way to get off the mark. Again, quite ominous for the Thunder, because really it has been their bowling that's been their strength, that's got them to finals day more so than their batting. There's going to be a lot of pressure on this chase for them. Swept, slog swept, right in the gap, didn't even move. Wyatt knew she'd nailed it, knew where the fielders were, all class, and she is well on track for a ton here.
I think Danny White's just toying with them a bit here. I mean, she's played some great shots, some great sweep shots through square leg quite a few times, but it sort of seems the Thunder are kind of not really sure where to bowl at her here. They got 4 out straight, so they really want her to hit straight, but she's just stepped across that one, whacked it over square.
Goes again, Wyatt. It was almost a catching chance for Gore. Instead, it will be 1. She's already on to the 5th highest individual score in this competition this season. Lauren Winfield holds 98 for the Diamonds against the Storm is the best, and I sense that could be in danger. The classic thing where, of course, if she gets out next ball, it's all my fault. Bell trying to put the brakes on. Steps down the track, meets that on the full toss, Kemp. It's a weird one where, forgive the expression, she's almost hit that too well, and that's what means she only gets 1. Hit the sweeper hard.
Yeah, she smashed that straight at Datani. But yeah, she'll be looking to get Danny Wyatt straight back on strike here, so I think she'll probably be pretty happy with that.
Oh, that's a horrid full toss from Bell. Might have got a wicket with it, though. Has got a wicket with it. Goodness me, what a way to see Danny Wyatt get out. She looked $1 million. She played magnificently, but she has to depart for 76 off 50. And this is what got her.
Well, that's a bit of a shame. How many times do you see that? A full toss batter whacks it straight at the fielder in the deep. But yeah, Danny Wyatt's played fantastic innings there, and she's really got the Vipers into a position where they're very much in control.
Nilesh Cranston will continue to reflect on where the innings is at and where it might go in these last 5 overs. And replacing me now with, after this ball, which will complete the over. The over is complete, beg your pardon. 15 gone, 145 for free will be daggers.
So Ella McCacken's come in here. Yeah, be looking to take on where Danny Wyatt left off. But yeah, it'd be a great opportunity here for Thunder to build a little bit of pressure. If they get 1 or 2 wickets here, keep them down to 170, give themselves the best chance of chasing this down. But yeah, it's a great time there for Thunder to take 2 quick wickets.
Well, they needed it, Elish, let's be honest. It's not hard pressed to say it's a crisis going at 10 and over from the word go. But 2 relatively new batters on in the middle. And yeah, you're right. A perfect opportunity for Thunder to at least try and squeeze. Probably what have they got in their minds for the next 5 over? At best, they can keep them to 180, maybe. Camp down the track. McCacken yet to get off the mark, yet to face a ball. But they're surely going to have something in their mind, a target figure in their mind.
It's got to be, yeah. 170 absolute best, but 180 I think being a bit more realistic just with how good the wicket is and how spacious this outfield is. Got 2 good runners again here, so they'll be looking to push those 2s as much as possible.
The other thing is that they've still got plenty of batting to come. Have the Vipers. Charlie Dean due in next, Georgia Elwis, then keeper Nicole Fulton. And Lindsay Smith can give it a bit of long handle if she fancies.
Yeah, she definitely can.
Heaved into the onside. Is it just going to fall short? Fancy it is. And Kemp manages to come back for a second. Good to see her back in Vipers colours. Not seen a great deal of her since that injury, and it's going to be a while till she is able to bowl. I was having a chat with her pre-match, just sort of saying it's slowly, as these injuries are. But the good news, and this might sound bizarre, but if you're going to get injured at the age she is. What is she now? Just turned, coming up 18? 150 up for the Vipers.
Yeah, I guess you could say if there's a good time to be injured, maybe when you're younger. But I mean, yeah, we've seen her play some fantastic cricket. She's going to be a great player to come. So I'm sure this is just a short little interruption to her career.
Yeah, 18 years and 50 days. she is. It's very accurate. Reading it off the website, but could be a slight issue. Out in the outfield, on comes Trainer. Just trying to see, is that Emma Lamb?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't actually see
her
go down. It was almost like she's just sort of stopped mid-over.
Twisted an ankle or something like that. It's going to be a slight delay, and that's the last thing England will want to see, is any injuries. Their potential Ashes members, while she gets treatment. Just a good opportunity for myself and Ailish just to run through what has occurred so far in this afternoon, with the Thunder winning the toss, electing to bowl first. They may be rethinking that issue with that decision, given that the Vipers have made 150 for 3 in 15.5 overs, so 4.1 remain. It might be a knee for Emma Lamb. We'll try and find out as soon as we can what the form is, but Danny Wyatt with 76, Maya Bouchier with 56. Wonderful partnership of 108 to kick things off the Vipers' highest of the Charlotte Edwards Cup season. And then Georgia Adams came and went relatively swiftly, 5 off 6 balls, and Freya Kemp is there with Ella McCacken, and still to come Charlie Dean, Georgia Elwes at 6 and 7. So there you go. Sophie Eccleston, been a little expensive. 3 overs, none for 35. Mahika Gore, 1 for 34 off her 3 overs. Tara Norris, 0 for 20 off 3. And surprisingly to me, Naomi Datani, who they may be saving for the back end of the innings, 0 for 8 off 2. By far and away the most economical of the bowlers. Fee Morris, 0 for 26 as she comes towards the end of her 3rd over. And Olivia Bell, 2 wickets for her, 2 for 22 from her 2 overs.
It seems like she's back up and okay here. Fingers crossed that would be a nightmare. She's been batting phenomenally at the moment. I think she got 197 the other day.
Well, she's pressed into action straight away, and she looks okay in pursuit of that. Couple onto the total. Nicely played, but that was the last thing that the England camp would have wanted to see, as we have finished the 16th over. 4 remain, 152 for 3. That might get a little bit of business today for those coming in. Ice Cream Hutch, which will get plenty of customers coming their way. They'll be selling it by the gallon. So this is a fairly upright looking worm. It's been such a positive innings from the Southern Vipers, full of intent, full of classic stroke making. 12 fours and a 6 for Danny Wyatt in her 76, 10 fours for Bouchier, so 22 fours and a 6. No one else yet to register a boundary, but you would have thought the 2 at the crease and the 2 still to come won't be far away. Fee Morris. Sorry, it's Olivia Bell into the attack, and that's thumped down the ground. And as soon as I suggest that no one else has scored a boundary, one comes via the way of a lovely lofted drive by Freya Kemp. And Joe Gardner returns.
Yeah, lovely timing there from Freya Kemp. Used her feet well, hit strong shots down the ground, much like she did when she scored that maiden international half-century against India at Derby last year.
A little bit more flight, straight through and bowled. And Olivia Bell has been main strike bowler for the Thunder. Just perhaps playing down the wrong line was Freya Kemp. And only 1 bail disturbed, but again, vital wicket for the Thunder.
Yeah, big time to get a wicket just when you thought Freya Kemp was just going to start going with that 4 on the previous ball. Yeah, Olivia Bell, it's only her 4th game for the Thunder, and she's now their leading wicket taker in the competition with 10 wickets. Impressive for her. Yeah, just a little bit more flight, a little bit slower perhaps than the previous shot that she'd hit for 4. And it got through the armoury of Freya Kemp. It brings Charlie Dean to the crease.
Yeah, just hitting down the wrong line, and I think you've got that licence if you're Freya Kemp, given who's still to come and the rate that they've been scoring, trying to put the game away in the first innings, if you like. That's not to say the Thunder haven't got powerhouses themselves. When you think of Emma Lamb, Dottin, Eccleston coming in down the order, Liberty Heap, wondering where she will bat today, but she can give it a slap as well. So plenty of power in the Thunder, but Olivia Bell 3 for 26. Charlie Dean, you bat a little bit of turn for Olivia Bell.
Charlie Dean will like the signs of that, you'd think, going into the second innings.
Yeah, you're right. What I've enjoyed about Olivia Bell is the fact she's not afraid to actually get it up there, get it above the eye line, tempt batters into the big shot.
Yeah, it was really brave actually, that second delivery after getting hit for the 4 from Kemp.
Oh, beautiful. That's beautiful bowling. Just something that we've been talking about, that will to throw the ball up, get it above the eye line, tempt batters out of the crease. McCacken has to make her way. Smart work from Ellie Threlkel behind the stumps, but that is fine bowling.
Yeah, absolutely is. No turn on offer there, and it's just, yeah, she's been brave enough and bold enough to back herself to get it above the eye line, as you mentioned, Daggers, and yeah, she's got 4 now. Brilliant from the 19-year-old.
Yeah, and it didn't turn, it just sort of carried on with the arm, even might have just pitched and moved away a little bit, but it's good bowling, and it takes a brave bowler, especially a spin bowler, doesn't it, Joe? When you've seen the rate that they're scoring, to actually say, right, you've hit me for 4, I'm going to throw it even higher now. Traditionally, you would think, right, I'm going to spear this in. I don't want to get hit for 4 again, but that takes a brave mentality.
Yeah, so often, especially spinners, if they get hit for a boundary, they'll so often go to that quicker, flatter delivery to get it out of the arc of the batters. So yeah, it's a pretty brilliant comeback, I think, from the start of this over, and she's picking up wickets for fun.
Oh, chance of Pfeiffer, and she's still got another over after this, should they decide to. Once more up off the mark is Georgia Elwes, vastly experienced campaigner. There's Elwes, the all-rounder. The Vipers have to be a little careful here. Yeah, you have that sort of security blanket of the big total behind you, and you've actually still got quite a lot of time to bat. In this game, 18 balls is a pretty long game. 159 for 5 at the end of the 17th.
Yeah, still 18 balls left, and I mean, before I returned, I was thinking they'd definitely have 200 on their mind, but potentially struggling to get up to 200, certainly if the Thunder take any more wickets, but we know how strong the Vipers' batting lineup is today, so they'll certainly be looking to get as close as that as possible. But the Thunder have fought back well here, and that was a good over from Olivia Bell.
Yeah, you're right. And it needed that when you're taking into, you know full well you're going to be chasing down a big target. And if you can actually get back into the dressing room or the dugouts with that little bit of a lift, that you haven't just been decimated and you're chasing leather all around the park on a hot, hot day, then it can just change the mindset somewhat. Morris is back into the attack. Her 3 overs have cost 28. Now we're talking around about the 180 mark is where a minimum the Vipers, or potentially minimum that the Thunder would like to keep it to. Little surprised, I'm not quite sure the form, but I'm a little surprised Emma Lamb hasn't been used today with the ball.
Yeah, I was thinking as much, to be fair, Daggers.
Maybe that's a directive. Unsure, but all looked. I was just having a look at her when she was chasing after that ball earlier on. She looked in good order. Speaking of good order, there's that cut shot from Charlie Dean. I think that's 4. The chase is in vain. No fielder on that deep cover boundary.
Yeah, split the field as well there, did Charlie Dean. Hit powerfully along the floor for 4.
Can't afford any width on this surface. And that moment, you can split second. Batters can get onto the back foot and carve it away. That's a little bit better. That's your area, really. Try at the stumps, no problems getting home.
Yeah, it's one thing the Vipers have done really well in this innings has been pretty ruthless on making sure that the bad ball does get put away for a boundary. I think sometimes you can be guilty of only scoring 1 or 2 off a bad ball, and that's why they've got the total that they're on at the moment.
Saw her coming. Mahika Gore going down in stages a little bit, not able to cut off the 2. And another over comes to an end. So 2 overs remain. Spin still the form for the Thunder. 168 for 5. A little surprised that we will only see, and depending on if she does come back in one of these 2 remaining overs, but when you've got a bowler in Naomi Tatani that's bowled 2 overs for 8, and for her not to finish her allocation, that surprises me a little.
Yeah, it does me as well, to be honest, because I know that she's been really confident in her death bowling in particular so far this year, and bowled really well down at the Vipers when they played against each other at the Ageas Bowl. So
Bell's going to finish off. 5 for in her sights.
Yeah, you wondered potentially that over that Morris just bowled from the other end, whether Datani could have finished out from that end. I know she bowled from this end that Olivia Bell's now bowling at. You can't not give this young girl her 4th over, to be fair.
Absolutely. And the great thing is, as well as we've talked about her different changes in flight, she's having the right field set as well. And it's difficult. She's bowling to the short side, to the right-handers. So that's not easy too. And that, as a batter as well, you can get dragged into trying to whack everything to the short side. But she's bowled with great intelligence, has Bell. You've got to accept, I suppose, that 1 or 2 are going to clear the ropes. That's a given. But there's been a lot to like about her bowling this afternoon. It should be just 1. Datani in pursuit. That's nicely played. That's really well timed as well from Georgia Elwes. Strong area of hers. She's a good sweeper. And she just had to control it, really. Find the boundary. Her first.
Yeah, you can see there she's just moved across to the off stump to just try and open up that angle a bit more behind square, and it's perfectly executed from Elwes there.
Tossed up once more. And just be clipped for the single. So the end of Olivia Bell, and I think she's bowled really well. Her 4 overs have cost 37 runs. She's picked up 4 wickets as well. Danny Wyatt, Georgia Adams, Freya Camp and Ella McCacken. Quite the foursome, and she can be pretty pleased with her afternoon's work so far. So that's the story of the first innings so far. I'm sure Vipers are thinking 190. Thunder are thinking 180. But that's a little optimistic, I fancy. Eccleston it will be. Big shot into space. And it's Morris who does the work out on the boundary edge. She's been busy out there, done some miles.
Yeah, we'll have a look at her GPS data at the end of the innings.
Do you have that? Do you have all those GPS things?
Yeah, we do.
Who's usually top of the list on miles covered? It's got through. It's got through, and it's going to be 4. And it's not been a cheap day for Sophie Eccleston. Into the 40s she goes. It's very sweetly timed. Lovely shot.
Top of the GPS data, Eva Gray. Honourable mention, Eva Gray. Seam bowler, runs around a lot, sweeping on the cow corner mid-wicket boundaries. Always top of the charts.
Down the ground, gun barrel straight. That's a wonderful strike from Georgia Elwes. She really is giving this Vipers a little bit more sting at the back end.
Yeah, excellent use of the feet there from Georgia Elwes, and no fielders on the sight screen, are there? So excellent option. And I'm struggling to think of a time when I've seen a batting attack really get stuck into Sophie Eccleston in the way that the Vipers have. It's not very often she goes wicketless. You know how much of an impact that she has for the Thunder and for England. Obviously, over 200 international wickets, and yeah, she's gone at a decent lick today.
Sliced away and safely pouched by Deandra Dottin. And backward point. And Georgia Elwes' little cameo comes to a close after 11 balls, but she has more than done her job for her side. She departs for 20, and the 6th wicket goes down with the score 186.
Yeah, low full toss from Eccleston. Just didn't quite get hold of it, did Elwes? It's the second full toss wicket we've seen today.
I think it's the second, yeah.
They're dangerous, they are. Dangerous.
So Nicole Fulton comes out to join Charlie Dean, who's just a bystander at the non-strikers end. 2 balls in which to get the Vipers up to that 190 mark. Really good knock from Georgia Elwes. So important. Some beautiful shots in there as well. That sweep shot, the drive over the top. 2 balls remain then. And that's good as well. Go on, Miss Fields. Not quite sure it's going to get to the boundary rope. But arguably the best possible result for the Southern Vipers, getting a 3, which gets Charlie Dean back on strike for the final ball.
Yeah, and their best chance of getting into the 190s. So quite comfortably their highest score of the competition this year. And what better time to score it in the Eliminator.
Last ball, just manoeuvred into the onside. Datani in pursuit, and they'll comfortably come back for that second run. So 20 overs are done. It's been a very warm one for the Northwest Thunder as they make their way off the pitch, having really been decimated by the Southern Vipers' strong batting lineup, all set up by that 108-run partnership between Bouchier and Wyatt at the top. 4th highest total in the Charlotte Edwards Cup this year. The Blaze had 2 of them against the Sparks and the Sunrisers. The top was the Northern Diamonds against the Western Storm at Leeds. 218 for 3. But they, I think, the Southern Vipers, will be more than happy with their 20 overs with the bat. Joe Gardner?
Yeah, they absolutely will, especially after losing the toss to Ellie Farrell. Georgia Adams obviously having to lead her side out and bat, and you know it's one of those in a final or a semi-final. If you can get a good total on the board, you've got that scoreboard pressure, and that's just almost the perfect kind of template of how you'd probably want to go about a T20 innings. And it probably means even more in this situation. Obviously, that little bit of extra pressure that we've spoken about to a Thunder side inexperienced in knockout stages of cricket.
Yeah, very much so. 192 is what the Thunder will be chasing down. They have got their work cut out. But the good news for them is that they have a strong batting lineup. This pitch is very, very good. The outfield is lightning fast. So there's plenty going their way should they look to try and knock down this ominous-looking total that has been set for the Vipers. For the right, to play the Blaze a little bit later on, the final at 4 o'clock. We're seeing the Vipers bowlers just going through their paces, loosening up. And they do have a fine bowling lineup led by Anya Shrubsole. We shall bring you that in around about 10 minutes' time, where the Thunder will be chasing down 192 to win.
Welcome back to New Road, where the chase is on. A tough chase as well for the Thunder. 192 to win against the Vipers. Here's how the first innings went. 108 put on for the first wicket by Danny Wyatt and Maya Boucher. What a platform that was. The 6th century stand in the competition so far, the 5th highest partnership in the Charlotte Edwards Cup this season. A rare punishing for Sophie Eccleston, who went for 50 off her 4 wickets for Olivia Bell. Took her into double figures for this season and just helped pull things back slightly. But there is no doubt, if you're watching at home, hold on to your hats, because the Thunder have got to go for this in the power play. I'm Michael McCann, and Sophie Luff is alongside me. Nothing to lose here, really. They were the underdogs coming into things. 4 wins from 5 just to get here against the defending champs. Emma Lamb and Liberty Heap have got to go out and give it sort of the kitchen sink, the furnishings, the sofa, the full beans, the lot.
Yeah, everything you said there, Michael. Yeah, I think the power play is going to be really important. Obviously, you can only have 2 out, so Thunder will be looking to target that. And these 2 have gone pretty well for Thunder at the top of the order. Obviously, Emma Lamb in very good form. Hasn't played every game for Thunder with her England commitments, but she's obviously on strike now.
Facing Anya Shrubsole. Short and cut away. Well, that's just the start the Thunder needed. And Emma Lamb, who is in quite splendid nick after hitting just the 197 in a practice match involving the England squad this week, gets her account going.
Yeah, great shot there by Lamb, and just whipped from Shrubsole, easing herself into a spell today, and yeah, punished by Lamb. She doesn't miss out on any width. You don't want to bowl that to Emma Lamb. That's her bread and butter.
Well, that's nice. That's more Shrubsolean, if you will. That's what she's known for. That nibbly, awkward in-swing.
Yeah, I've played a lot of cricket with Anya growing up, both Somerset girls. So, yeah, she's still got it. She's still taking wickets and doing a fine job for the Vipers. I saw her bowl in the Diamonds game, and I loved how she celebrated her wickets. I hadn't seen that for a long time from Anya. It was great to see.
Again, Shrubsole in and gets the wicket this time. Lamb trying to get clever. I think Shrubsole just saw Lamb moving quite early and took a bit of pace off it, and there's not enough to get it up over that sort of short, fine leg fielder. A really good early breakthrough for the Vipers.
Yeah, she did move quite early there, Lamb, and actually a well-judged catch. It's never easy on the 45 there. I think that's Ella McCacken there taking a good grab, moved well backwards, and yeah, Shrubsole, she's in the wickets again.
That is really not what they needed. The 5th highest run scorer in the competition coming into today departs for just 4 off 3 balls. And now Heap needs a new partner, which comes in the form of Morris, who has been massive to this Thunder story. Smashed 42, not out against the Diamonds to help them get that bonus point win on Wednesday to secure that spot here. But this is an even tougher task, no doubt.
Yeah, never easy facing a ex-international, and Anya's got all of the experience in the world, hasn't she? And yeah, she's obviously looking to lead the Vipers into what will be another final if they can get there.
Nice awkward length from Shrubsole, and of course the keeper's up as well. That's always niggly for an opening bat. Feltham, who's been really good behind the stumps. More dismissals than anyone else with the gloves. Nicely played, but straight at cover, and immediately that pressure builds. That required run rate just starts to tick up, and those boundary balls, or chances of boundary balls in the power play, ebb away.
Yeah, it's really tough, isn't it? Especially when you're chasing 190 plus. You don't really have those deliveries to give yourself a chance as a batter. But, you know, Wyatt and Boucher did give themselves a chance at the start and made a great partnership.
So that's going to be 1. Morris will get off the mark at the end of the first. 5 for 1. It's interesting you mention that. So we look at that total now, but they were 50 for none off 6, which is obviously by no means modest, but it's there was actually an acceleration after the power play. Do you think sometimes the hype around the power play is almost too far, and that there is an aspect to that almost old school cricket way of building your way in?
I think it depends how you want to go about things. I think that's what the Vipers did very well, is they played good cricket shots and they got value for those cricket shots. You know, sometimes you might have batters that just want to swing at everything, and you know, almost like, you know, there were those pinch hitter players, weren't there, in previous years when T20 just came in.
We were mentioning how imposing that total was. You might just have spotted a certain Charles Dagnall Esquire over my shoulder, just passing me something there as the second over gets started from Smith. That's a nice length, driven out to mid-off. 5 of the 6 highest totals in the Charlotte Edwards Cup history of the competition have been made this season, and that very much reflects what we're seeing in terms of as times go on. And that was from Hypercourse, who I always refer to as the Banksy of women's cricket. So that's nicely bowled a game from Smith. That will be a dot. Banksy in the sense that nobody knows who this person is, and yet they are universally known and respected within the space for the fact that you could be doing any game anywhere in the world and they will be providing useful information. Hit hard on the half volley, but not quite in the gap enough to get 2. So apart from that boundary off the first ball, it's been incredibly tight from the Vipers ever since.
Yeah, Vipers have got a very experienced bowling attack. Lindsay, again, has played a lot of cricket and bowled a lot of overs in power play in her career so far.
And that's skied straight into the cover point region. It's just about got up over the fielder, and it will trickle away, and it hasn't quite been kept in play either. So they have finally got a sweet relief of the second boundary, up into double figures, 11 for 1, but by no means convincing.
No, not convincing there, but you can see what Morris is trying to do. Obviously, the offside's up, so she's just tried to give herself a little bit of room to make sure she does clear that infield.
Just worked for another single here. So already that required run rate is almost into double figures, as you can see. Smith doing what she so often does. That'll be another trotted, almost agreed single to end the over. By her very high standards, it's an expensive one for Lindsay Smith. She concedes 8, and I say that because her economy rate, 13 for 1 off 2 in this competition this season, is an outrageous 4.9. And if you're thinking, is that a small sample size? Well, that's her 29th over bowled. That is what she does. So good at keeping it tight.
Yeah, obviously a new addition to the Vipers. I mean, she played a few years ago in the KSL days, but yeah, she made the move back to Vipers from Diamonds this year and has, well, just continued where she left off, really. You know what you're going to get from Lindsay. She's gone well in the regional domestic competitions and gone well in the 100 as well.
Shubsole continuing to talented young batter Liberty Heap. You can only play it straight back.
I mean, what an experience for Liberty Heap. You know, she sort of broke through, obviously played in the Under-19 World Cup for England. What an opportunity for such a young girl to be, you know, she's at the start of her career, and you won't mind me saying that she's at, you know, the back end of hers. You know, to be facing someone of Anya's skill and experience is fantastic.
Heap swings away merrily. Didn't really connect it, kind of clothed it, and it's probably a good thing she did, because had she connected with it, would have been straight into White's hands at deep mid-wicket. Yeah, Liberty Heap, who really does sort of bleed the red rose. I'm not going to ask you to do it, Sophie, but the last time I was commentating on Liberty Heap, I had Phoebe Graham next to me impersonating both her accent and her parents in terms of the Burnley accent. Cut away nicely, well timed, and that is going to go for 4. Beautiful from Morris, who's into double figures. 3rd boundary of the innings, 22 for 1. Really didn't try and hit this hard. Watch out, watch this replay, youngsters.
Yeah, again, just too much width from Shrubsole. You can see that she's disappointed on the replay monitor there. she knows that she can't be offering that to players, especially with the offside up.
Tries to play the same shot again and has done it pretty successfully, Morris. Didn't quite time this one as well, so it's going to tease the fielders and go for back-to-back boundaries. Morris starting to get into gear and starting to counter-attack nicely.
I think this is what we were talking about in terms of the importance of the power play. You get value for just good cricket shots. If the bowlers are going to air like Shrubsole has done there on a couple of occasions, you know, the outfield's lightning, you get good value for your shots here, and, you know, Morris is racing away already.
Played straight back to Shrubsole. He responds well with the dot. Yeah, what a signing she's been for the Thunder, Fee Morris. Didn't have her best day with the ball, none for 37 or 4, but just as capable of making things right with the bat. But not an easy situation to bowl in either. It does look pretty flat out there. Sweeps away, straight at short fine leg. Slight misfield, or a good tumbling stop, depending on how you want to interpret it, from Alan McCacken. End of the third, 23 for 1.
Yeah, look, it's a solid start here from Thunder. They've obviously lost the early wicket of Lamb, who's been a crucial cog when she has played for them. Like you say, she's the 5th top run scorer in this competition through those group stages. But Thunder, Morris in particular in that over, just getting a little bit of momentum, 16 off 10 balls, and she'll be looking to maintain and even increase that strike rate.
Looks like it will be Charlie Dean, who has had quite the 18 months or so. You think of how sensational she was in England's tour of the West Indies at the back end of 2022, got her first central contract as a nice sort of Christmas present in December of last year. Now here she is, trying to make things even more difficult for the Thunder. Smashed away on the half volley. It's hit pretty hard, but maybe a touch too close to the sweeper. Only get 1.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you could see on the screen there, but Lindsay Smith is fielding probably 10 or so off the boundary rope, trying to stop those 2s, which the Vipers picked up very easily.
Timed in the gap. This could be 4. I think that might have just have been kept in. If so, that is absolutely magnificent work. Bit of tag team fielding. Have a look at this low full toss. And then Freya Kemp turning into Superwoman and putting a cape on as well. Goodness me. Met on the half volley, missed time, but it will go for extra cover. And this could be 4 as well. We've spoken about how quick the outfield is. It is for Heap taking her chances and getting her reward.
Yeah, not that convincing there by Heap, but I guess they do say if you're going to swing, swing hard, and that's certainly what the youngster from Burnley is doing here.
Yeah, she often knows no other way. She is a very explosive batter to watch. I know quite a lot of people in various pre-season previews had her marked down for the breakthrough season. Heap's met this one much cleaner. That's a beautiful shot from Liberty Heap. That is Liberty Heap at her best. And it is back-to-back 4s. All the pressure on Dean now, who's gone for 11 off the 4 balls in this over already.
Yeah, Heap starting to motor. Obviously, watched Morris in the previous over. I think what I like more about that one is she's kept her shape slightly more, and she's got 4 all the same.
Smashed away through mid-wicket. Heap will get 1. She'll almost be a bit frustrated to lose the strike. Seeming to really get into her groove there.
I think these 2 batters are recognising just how important this power play is if they are going to chase this total down. Although Wasp is saying, you know, it's 50-50 at the minute, Michael.
Yes, it's one of those things no one, much like Hypercourse being the Banksy of cricket, no one's ever quite figured out where Wasp comes from. It's just there. Is that smashed away on the half volley, up over square leg? That's a gorgeous cricket shot. Proper slog sweep from Morris. And that over has gone for 16. It is the most expensive over in the innings so far. 39 for 1. That is a gorgeous cricket shot from Morris, who so often has carried so much of Thunder's hopes on her shoulders as one of their key players this season, and looks like a very important player in this chase. She has 21 off 12. We can see on the worm it's near enough neck and neck. Of course, have lost that wicket, which the Vipers didn't in that big opening partnership. And I'm delighted to say, alongside yours truly, we've swapped Sophie Luff for Eilish Cranston. Very good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm enjoying that this chase has picked up a little bit.
We've got a game on here.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a really good one.
Taylor now. Met nicely by Heap, who will have to settle for just one, but she's hit that hard straight at long on. You can see that partnership at the bottom, 36 off 22. This is dangerous for the Vipers.
Yeah, they're both striking the ball really nicely here, as they have been in their last couple of round games, so be good to see how they go.
Oh, that is so clever from Morris. How about that? Oh, just uses all the pace of Mary Taylor against her. Makes it look so simple. I can promise you it's not.
It's a very conventional Fee Morris shot, that. She's amazing at playing 360 around the ground, so I really love that she's gone to that option early, so I think it's a real strength of hers.
The question is, how does Taylor respond now? It's a more traditional shot from Morris, but straight at mid-on. Fee Morris, who started the day 12th in the run table in this competition, and is doing everything in this innings to push her way up it. She needs 2 more to go past 200 for the season, and that's not even factoring in all the wickets she's taken for the Thunder. Can't get anything on that.
I think since moving to Thunder, you can just see how confident her confidence has grown as a player, batting and bowling, and it seems to have been a really good move for her, and yeah, she's playing nicely for the side.
Comes down the track and gets a little bit lucky here, Morris. If you're going to swing hard, it flashes away over the keeper's head. It is 4 more, and the Thunder are actually ahead of where the Vipers were at this stage.
In a chase like this, you need a bit of luck on your side sometimes. Yes, like you said, she's just gone for that one. Taken the 4 runs. I think she'll be happy with that.
I'm going to steal a phrase from Phoebe Graham, who I'm sure will be watching, which is that was a filthy hack. Highly effective though. It is 4 in the book. And then a block to end the over. So 9 off it, 48 for 1 off 5. It will be Eilish Cranston, and then replacing me, Churchy.
So 1 more over of the power play to go here. Be interesting to see the total that they try and get to. It looks like Lindsay Smith's coming on for another over, so looks like they're trying to take a wicket here.
It's quite an interesting one, this, for Thunder, because it's sort of almost a free hit, isn't it? If you need 192, you know you've got to go for it basically from ball 1, and you've got to keep going for it. So that's basically what they've got to do. It's very straightforward. First ball of this, the 6th, the final over of the power play. That's just drilled out to extra cover, and there's no run. But 1 quiet over, and that required rate is already 9.6. They're going at 9.5, but 9.6. 1 quiet over changes everything. And bowling, Morris changes a few things, and that's a nice bit of bowling from Smith. Morris dancing down the pitch, looking to go inside out over extra cover, just went on with the arm, and that is exactly what we're talking about, because that will make the task that bit harder. But it's a nice bit of bowling, isn't it, really, just from round the wicket, just going on And Morris trying to go inside out over extra cover, and Thunder are 49 for 2.
Yeah, I think that's classic Lindsay Smith there. She bowls stump to stump. She's very hard to get away, which is obviously why they're bowling her in the power play. And they took that much needed wicket. But it'll be interesting to see how they respond here. Like I say, Dottin's coming in now. Again, another hard hitter. She's going to be looking to score boundaries early on. I think that was actually Heap that ended up going in the end, so Morris is still out there.
Apologies.
But yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see how Dottin goes about this. Like, they still do have 15 overs to go, or 14.4. So she does need to get going, but you know, I've seen her play a few innings where she does take her time a little bit, but then she knows she can sort of start to hit the maximums pretty quickly. So,
and they needed to do it today in a final. They're chasing 192, and they're 48 for 2 in the 6th. Thunder. Dottin's first delivery, driving, and we'll get a single off a thickish inside edge. One more to the total. Well, let's hope that Morris goes on to get 120 and wins the game after I've put her back in the dugout a bit too early, but it was a lovely bit of bowling from Smith. Morris 29 from 17. Won't get a run here, but again using the feet, trying to get down to Smith, but it's good bowling again from Smith.
She's just so consistent. I think that's what makes, you know, obviously she's had her England caps as well, but
tosses that one up, full toss in fact. It's driven straight up to mid-off, and Georgia Adams does the fielding. They'll get a single, and that will bring up the 50 in the 6th over, where actually it's exactly where the Vipers were. They brought their 50 up off the last ball of the power play. The difference is 2 wickets down. Just nudged into the leg side from Dottin, and there's no run. That's a terrific over though from Smith, and that target 192, and as you can see at the moment the ground bathed in sunshine. There was talk, Hamish Cranston, of a thunderstorm, but there doesn't seem to be any sign of that at the moment, thank goodness.
not at the moment. Still lovely weather outside, fingers crossed. Yeah, it would be a shame to ruin the day, but it's looking good at the moment, so I'm feeling positive.
No, I think we're going to be all right. It's hot and humid. There's no doubt whatsoever about that. It is very hot and very humid at the moment, but I think we're going to be okay today. So start of the 7th over. And this one is picked up, and bottom hand comes into the shot, just working it through that leg side region down towards long on. They should get back for 2. They will get back for 2. So 2 more to Morris. But yeah, just got to keep ticking here. Have Thunder. Morris, as you can see, 32 now off 20. Georgia Elvis hitting a good line and a good length. Inside edge there from Morris. Again, looking to drive down the ground. And they'll just get a single, and Dottin comes back onto strike.
I think Thunder will want to look to find a bowler that they can target, you know, to really maximise their runs. But yeah, you sort of look around this Vipers team. They've got Charlie Dean to come. You know, obviously Lindsay Smith's got a couple left, and you sort of left scratching your head. Who are we going to target here?
Dottin just whips this one off around about Midland leg down towards long on. Just pick up another single. As a batter, but when you're facing a big target like this, do you break it down? Because if you just looked at 192, it's still a long way off. Do you sort of just break it down into where you would like to be at the end of 10? Runs here for Morris, just waits for a back of a length delivery. Nudges it into the leg side, takes another single.
Yeah, I think you always want to have those targets in mind, whether it's right, we need to get one boundary and over, or you know, I think sometimes when you're looking at 10s, it can seem quite ominous. But yeah, I think always having a target in mind so they'll probably be looking at the 10th or the 12th here.
Swing and a miss from Dottin. Was looking to launch that over the Basil d'Oliveira stand. Didn't get anything on it whatsoever. Now Alvis has got to be careful here by just having a little look at where she's following through. Cannot run straight down the middle of the pitch, so she's got to be a little bit careful. That was a fairly violent shot from Dottin. Here she goes. Well, she's got hold of this one. That's 6. Don't even bother looking for that, because that's hit the tarmac, and a gentleman by the heavy roller does the fielding. Well, she missed the first one, Ailish Cranston. She's absolutely middled the second one. That is a big shot from Dottin. They need a few more of those from her. She moves on to 8. Morris has 34. 7 gone, 61 for 2, Thunder.
Yeah, Dottin just showing her power there. I mean, I don't even think she really strided towards the ball, just all in the swing. But yeah, I mean, she's a super dangerous player, so that she's just, you know, keeping her name there a little bit, showing them, you know, I can do this and this is what I'm capable of. So yeah, she'll be just keeping them on their toes a little bit here.
Well, it was almost like she was getting her eye in the previous delivery, and then the last ball of the over, as I say, that just soared away for 6. Smith to continue, bowling the 8th over. Morris this time using her feet once again, whips it out towards deep mid-wicket. Will get the single. One more to Morris, playing this sensibly at the moment. Of course, there was that opening stand of 118 for the Vipers between Wyatt and Bouchier. Bouchier the first to go for 56, 108 it was worth. Dottin drives again. Has really got hold of this one, but it's a powerful strike again from Dottin. Even a half hit from Dottin. It tends to travel. You'll get a single down to long off. 63 for 2. Thunder. Target 192. Morris. Slog sweeping, standing up straight down towards long on. Vipers won't mind singles at the moment though. Ailish, the Thunder need boundaries, don't they? Even at this stage, they need at least 1 and over.
Yeah, you can see with the offside field up, Lindsay's just really, she's coming round the wicket, really targeted into those stumps, just getting the batters to knock it into the leg side.
Dottin uses her feet, picks it up on the full, drills it straight down the ground. And that's away for 4. And it's a strong shot. Great use of the feet, turns it into a full toss. Smith, valiant effort to get to that, but that has whistled away straight down the ground for 4. Looking dangerous here is Dottin. 13 off 7. Run rate, you can see there on the bottom of your screen. 8.87 they're going at the moment. Required rate 10.05. So they're there or thereabouts. Can always make that up at the end. Dottin sweeping in front of square, straight out towards deep mid-wicket. And they will pick up a single. So that 1 boundary in the over. 8 off this over now. Where they need to be. There or thereabouts. And that sort of just sums up that they need Thunder 1 boundary and over. Until they get to the last 2 or 3. Because then anything can happen. Morris. Driving. Oh, great catch at backward point. That is a brilliant catch from Elwes. Just backpedaling. Morris was just looking to go over the top of backward point. And Elwes has backpedaled, stuck up a right hand and has clung on. And Morris goes for 36. Wasn't quite to the pitch of it, but that is a terrific catch. It really is. Had to go with one hand and pulls the ball down. And Morris, who was just ticking along, goes for 36. Thunder are 69 for 3.
Yeah, shame. She's batted really well there. Like you can see, she's trying to make room, trying to get it over that offside, just to get another boundary, get that run rate, required run rate, just down a little bit. So, but yeah, great grab. Sometimes as a batter, you just have to walk off accepting. Unfortunately, that's cricket.
It is, and
yeah.
it's I was talking about it the other day. With 2020 cricket, for me, batting's changed with shots and bowling's changed with varieties. It's the fielding, though, and the catching. It's just on a different level these days. And that was a great catch. Ailish, thank you very much indeed. So the captain's out there now. And Threlkeld is out there with Dottin. And these two need a partnership. They really do. And Elwes taking the catch. Has got the ball back in her hand because she's going to start the 9th over. So those couple of wickets just pull Thunder back towards Vipers. But when you've got 191 on the board to play with, it does make things a little simpler. Mary Taylor actually into the attack now. So Mary Taylor into the attack. Welcome back, Joe Gardner.
Good afternoon again, Churchy.
So Taylor with the Basil D'Oliveira stand behind her, and Dottin in front of her. Comes right arm over the wicket, and this is smashed by Dottin off a length. Wow, absolutely hammered that. And Dottin has moved on to 18 off 9 balls, 73 for 3. If Dottin sticks around, they will be very, very close, won't they?
Yeah, they will. She's clearly a marquee overseas signing that's got real match-winning performances, and you want your overseas player to step up and win games for your team, even more so in a situation like this. And she'll probably feel like she can potentially target Mary Taylor, a little bit inexperienced, a little bit young. Started off with a boundary in this over. Yeah, striking at 200 is...
Where is she going now, Dottin? Full toss. And she'll feel she's missed out here because she's drilled it straight up to Georgia Adams. I think Taylor will feel got away with that, a touch. Although, I was hearing a discussion at the back of the commentary box between all three of you that the old full toss these days can be the best delivery in T20 cricket, can't it?
It's surprising how many times a full toss results in a wicket. You think, oh no, it's rank, it's a free hit, but actually, the amount of times you see it result in a wicket is astonishing.
Threlkeld, her first delivery. Thickish inside edge, just pushing forward. We'll get a single out there towards deep backward square. And they take the single. Freya Kemp doing the fielding. Yeah, it's extraordinary. The number of times you see in a game a ball that if you offered it to the batter, they would say, thank you very much, I'll take that. And they launch it straight up in the air or straight down a fielder's throat and then trudge off thinking, what have I done there? Here goes Dottin, straight down the ground for 4 more. Anything length she is going after here. I think they've just got to drop their length a touch to her, because anything that's up to the bat, she is absolutely hammering. And you see it there on the replay, Joe Gardner, that bottom hand comes into the shot, doesn't it?
It's got to be one of the most powerful bottom hands in the women's game, I would imagine. Obviously scored that fastest T20 century back in, I think it was like 2010 or something. She's a very powerful player.
She's got the experience of doing this. Here she goes again. Driving up in the air, hasn't really got hold of this, and just for a second it hung in the air there, and it was an interest there for the sweeper of on the cover boundary rope. Didn't really get all of that, and it was one of those horrible ones. Do you sprint in and dive full length and attempt to take the catch, and either Charlie Dean, the ball goes underneath her, or she's off to the dentist? I think she probably did the right thing there. Threlkeld drives and outside edge, and that'll race away for 4 runs. Not where she intended, but they all count. No slip in there at the moment, of course. But nicely bowled. Proper edge that from Threlkeld, but she won't mind that, Joe Gardner. It's a boundary off the last ball of the over. 9 gone. 84 for 3, Thunder.
Yeah, they're just the kinds of pieces of luck that the Thunder are going to need if they're to get anywhere close to the 192 they require in this game. And yeah, a very welcome over. I think 15 off that, 14 off that. It's pretty handy one.
You can see there on the screen the Manhattan, the blocks there. So actually they're they're all thereabouts. Absolutely equal that 9th over. And Charlie Dean is into the attack again. Her first over went for 16. This will be good. Dean against Dottin. Dean knows what Dottin wants to do. Dottin's probably eyeing up the hotel at the moment, I would have thought. Just over extra cover. Dean is over the wicket to her. And she's slog sweeping. And that's beaten the edge. And it's beautifully taken. And the bails are off. But again, Joe Gardner. Dottin's still down on one knee there. Sort of imagining where that ball should have gone.
Yeah, absolutely. I reckon if she'd have connected with that, it was a good chance of sailing over the Graham Hick Pavilion to our left.
I think the crowd just need to be on their toes here with Dottin. Got a hold of this one, has she? No, it's straight down Long On's throat, and Dottin has gone. Got a lot of that, but has hit that straight down Bouchier's throat at Long On, and that is a big wicket for the Vipers because Dottin was looking so dangerous. Charlie Dean just held that one back a touch, and Dottin exactly the area we expected her to go for it, but she's picked out Bouchier, takes a very safe catch. Dottin goes for 24, and Thunder 84 for 4.
Yeah, massive wicket there for the Vipers in this 10th over, and that's kind of been the story of Dottin's campaign in the Charlotte Edwards Cup. I don't think she's scored any more than 28 or something like that, so she's not managed to get into the 30s once yet in the tournament, and unfortunately that's her campaign come to an end. But you did really feel like for as long as she was going to be batting that the Thunder would have been interested, and you can see what she's tried to do there, you know, back herself and try and slog sweep it over that Long On region, but yeah, probably just didn't quite get hold of it as she would have liked. And as I saw when we played against the Thunder at Old Trafford and had to go and retrieve the ball a couple of times from behind me.
Well, you could see what it meant to Vipers when Boucher took the catch. They all sprinted towards her because they know how dangerous Dottin is. So, Sophie Eccleston out there in the middle, joining Throckard. But this gets harder and harder for Thunder, really. As wickets fall, that equation gets harder and harder. Duckworth-Lewis is always quite a good indicator of where you need to be. And this is down the leg side. That'll be wide signalled. It's 92 at the moment. They're on 84. And, of course, that goes shooting up when wickets fall as well, Duckworth-Lewis.
Yeah, I was actually just looking at the score after 8 overs before I came back on comms for the Vipers, and they were 71 for none.
Eccleston forward, plays this one straight back up the pitch. Good over this from Dean so far. Does the fielding off her own bowling.
Whereas I think at the same point, so after 8 overs, Thunder were 69 for 3, and it's obviously those wickets that are really important in a chase.
Uses her feet again, Eccleston. Doesn't quite get to the pitch of it. And Dean dives across to do the fielding off her own bowling. Ball ricochets to Georgia Adams. Well, it's an obvious thing to say, but if you've got an opening pair that put on 108, it doesn't half make a difference. Partnerships, as Eccleston just waits for this and then off the front foot swings it into the leg side for a single to get off the mark. The captain Threlkel comes back on to strike, but when you've laid a base of 108 for the first wicket, it just gives you licence, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think for the Thunder it almost became a little bit like damage limitation, in a sense. They did manage to claw back and get a few wickets to halt the momentum a little bit, but
Threlkel driving, just hits the fielder Alwis on the edge of the circle, and there's no run. 10 gone then. And Thunder 86 for 4. Joe Gardner, a few more thoughts from you on how the Thunder go about getting 106 off 10 overs, and then you'll be joined by Charles Dagnall.
yeah, I think they've just got to keep probably going hard at it, you know, otherwise that rate is just going to creep up, and as soon as it gets kind of beyond up to 12s, 13s, 14s, it becomes very difficult to claw any momentum back. So they can have a big over here and maybe just shift a little bit of pressure back onto the Vipers. Potentially they could still be interested in this chase, but it's going to be a hard task.
Yeah, I think we underlined that 3 times in red. It's stiff, especially when you've got players of the calibre of Anya Shrubsole coming back into the attack. Clubbed by Eccleston just for a single. They're a little bit disappointed with that Deandra Dottin dismissal. Is that, you know, having a look at what she's given to Thunder this year, you know, you bring in an overseas player, he's only just over about 120 runs, 118 runs, I think, highest score of 26 not out, and you kind of want more from your overseas player. 80 odd of those runs coming in boundaries. I realise that's what you do, or the way that she plays. But you know, Charlie Dean's an international spinner. You've got to give her a little bit of respect. You've got to find the deliveries that you think are in your wheelhouse, rather than trying to do it pretty much every single ball.
Yeah, you saw with the first ball of that Charlie Dean over that Dottin obviously tried to send it over the pavilion and missed out, but
yeah, it just looks like they're trying to manufacture it. You know, there are enough deliveries that you can get through. It's actually just picking and choosing the ones. And when you fall down, Threlkeld, who's played in every single Thunder game since 2016, whether that be in the Old Kia Super League, Rachel Hayhoe-Flint in the Charlotte Edwards Cup, her first taste of finals day, and it's just fallen short off the leading edge of Sophie Eccleston. She can feel herself quite fortunate there.
yeah, just went for a slog sweep over to the shorter side. I think it could have been a leg cutter from Anya Shrubsole and just forced the top edge, but the 3 fielders all convening and dropped in between them.
Now, not got all of this as well, going to fall short. Lindsay Smith patrolling in the deep.
You just feel like she didn't quite follow through completely with that shot, and you wonder, might it have gone all the way over the fielder's head had she have done so? It was almost like she just pulled out of it at the last moment.
Slightly slower. Just out of the side of the hand from Shrubsole, and you're right, when she connects, it stays connected properly. End of a very tidy over from Anya Shrubsole. 80-90 for 4 at the end of the 11th, and that target looking ever further away for the Thunder. And don't forget, this is for the right to meet the Blaze in the final. The Blaze, who are undefeated, Joe, in all forms of cricket this year. The Rachel Hayhoe-Flint, 3 games, 1 out of 5, but 2 would have been lost to weather, and 7 out of 7 in the Charlotte Edwards Cup. So I just wonder, they'll be sat waiting to come out and warm up, but they're fresh, they're loose, they've not been sweltering in mid-20s degree heat out as the Vipers and the Thunder have. So whoever goes on to beat them, you just feel that they'll not necessarily be at 100% as Lindsay Smith comes back on. Distinct advantage, I fancy, for the Blaze.
Yeah, you reckon so on a day like today, with obviously the heat probably playing a bit of a factor for what feels like the first time this summer. They've been very impressive across both tournaments so far this year, the Blaze.
Now, attempt. Has Danny White got under it? No, just beyond. It was a difficult one to judge, seeing where the boundary edge was. She was trying to keep one eye on the boundary, one eye on the path of the ball, and as it stands, I think you were signalling 6. I fancied it was 6, and it is 6.
Yeah, I think umpire Sue Redfern at Square Legs just asked Rose to change her signal from 4 to a 6. Yeah, and that's what I mean about when you spoke about when Sophie Eccleston does follow through and connect with it. You know that she does have the ability to clear the ropes.
That's into space. And that's going to be 4. That's a gift. And we were talking about, I was listening to the conversation Mark Church was having about low full tosses. Sometimes they can be a devastating delivery, but if you control it in the way that Eccleston does, in bringing up the 100 with that shot, it can be quite productive as well.
Yeah, that's often the wisest pocket to try and hit on a low full toss you fancy. The one between long on and mid wicket, as Sophie Eccleston's almost perfectly split them there. But you just wonder, a drop chance from Danny Wyatt.
I don't know if there's a worse feeling as a cricketer, where you see the low full toss and you think, oh, I could hit this anywhere. I could absolutely, and then you just hold out to either short mid wicket or maybe the fielder in the deep. You feel like such a dunce.
Yeah, that was something I fell foul to when I played. The only time I've played on this ground actually, last year, last game of the season. Bowled a full toss and hit it straight.
What were you on at the time?
Wicket. Oh, like 5 or something.
Ah, that's
something
all right.
Rubbish,
We forgive you that. Huge appeal from behind the stumps, but bowler not interested in the end, and the end of the 12th over. And the Thunder 103 for 4, so 89 runs to win. And as Mark Church said, always wise to have a look at what the Duckworth Lewis Stern score is at this particular time. And the Thunder are not a million miles away from it, just 7 runs. DLS is at 110 as Jo Gardner takes her leave. Plenty more from her throughout the course of the afternoon. And the Luffster is replacing her, Sophie Luff. Good afternoon. Our first little stint together. It's nice to see you.
It? Yeah, it's good.
You in good form?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Beautiful day for cricket. How could one be sad? As Elwes returns and starts off with the Yorker. What's the plan then? Former captain of the Welsh Fire. You've been in a predicament with them on more than one occasion. How would you assess the way that the Thunder have to go about this next 8 overs?
Well, they can't really take too much time. The next couple of overs, they've got to put their foot down and try and accelerate. These two have got themselves in. You know, Eccleston's faced 12 balls now, Threlk held 8. They've got the pitch conditions. They need a few more boundaries, I think. That run rate is creeping up, isn't it? Closer to 11.5 and over now. And yeah, I think when I was on with Michael earlier, when it gets to 12, that's when it becomes really tricky.
Yeah, they won't mind this. The Vipers just ticking over in singles. And that experience, Lindsay Smith's had a very, very good season after her move to the Vipers. Shrubsole has been doing a long time, as has Elwes. I've been in these situations plenty of times before. It just looks as though she's going Yorker theory at the moment, Elwes.
Yeah, Georgia's played a lot of cricket, hasn't she? She'll be really clear on her plans here to these two batters. Really clear field sets in terms of what she wants to deliver. And yeah, she's got that experience and nous to more often than not deliver as well.
Connection good, but field is right. I was reading a very interesting article, an interview given by George Adams at the end of the last game, or looking forward to this Eliminator, and do a variety of different things as a team, coaching staffs now. Just be a single. Personality traits. I don't know if you've done this. We actually did it back in Leicester at the end of the over. 109 for 4. And she said Lindsay Smith is a red. They do these spotlight colours. And she's the only red in their team. I had a look and wondered what a red was. And there's greens and blues. And so they explained it. Just reading my notes here. Had to write it down. I was very interested. So a red, that's a personality trait. They like the battle. They're a fiery character. Blues are logical and good at decision making. That's like an Anya Shrubsole, apparently.
Yeah, I'm a blue as well.
You are blue?
Yeah, very much a blue.
Not quite sure about that. Maybe a purple. Mix of red and blue. And greens are a people person. like Georgia Adams is. She said the majority of us are greens, but we needed a red. As Adams comes in, it's worked away. Long chase on the boundary edge, and that's going to run away for 4. Valuable runs for the Thunder, and Eccleston starting to get her eye in here a little bit.
Yeah, good footwork there by Eccleston. I don't think she'd want to miss that delivery, but works it away for 4 nonetheless. I think there's a yellow as well, Daggers.
Is there a yellow? What is a yellow?
Well, I'm not 100% sure now you've put me on the spot. It used to be called, like, you know, sunshine yellow. They're very sort of social people. Yeah, like to just make the world a happier place, I think.
Oh, that's me firmly in the yellow camp, surely. No? Okay. Down the ground. And that is well struck, and it's the direction more than anything. Long off and long on are quite wide. There's probably 40, 50 yards separating the pair of them. And that's a lovely connection.
Yeah, beautiful there from Eccleston. She knew the moment that she hit that was going to be 4 pennies. And like you say, Daggers, she's just getting into her groove now, and that's what Thunder need. They need to get a little bit of a wiggle on. 75 still needed here off 39 balls, and I think Eccleston's the key.
You're absolutely right. She needs to spend another 12 or 13 more balls, and if she does, she'll be sort of 40, mid-40s, something like that. And then Vipers may start to have a little bit of a worry on, but nicely balanced at the moment. 117 for 4. So yeah, just reading this article, and it said that comfortably home in the end, no real need for the dive from Ellie Threlkeld. That the Vipers needed to add some reds, so they added Lindsay Smith. And apparently they wanted some of the other colours to find their inner red. And Anya Shrubsole took wickets like in her previous game, and apparently showed her inner red in her celebrations.
Yeah, I did notice that actually. I saw the 4 wickets she got at Diamonds and saw her celebrating, and I hadn't seen that from Anya in a while. It was a great sign actually.
I just wonder if the last time Anya showed her inner red was in the World Cup final in 2017 at Lord's, where she bowled so beautifully to loft the trophy for England. 120 for 4 at the end of the 14th. So that's what. So do you all go through this? Sort of spotlight personalities. Is that to understand each other's personalities?
Yeah, we've done the spotlight profiling, a few of us at Western Storm, and yeah, so you have a bit of everything in you. You have a bit of, all 4 colours, blue, green, red, yellow, but obviously as an individual you'll have a preference of how you want to go about things. So you're talking about Lindsay being a red, that would be her preference, and that's her sweet spot, I guess. Whereas Anya would be, a blue, very logical in the way that she goes about things, and that's her sweet spot. But you can flex as an individual to, meet the needs of others, and that's where it's really important knowing your teammates and knowing how they react best to certain situations. It's really valuable as a captain, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think is it the Myers-Briggs test that we used to do? Shrubsole in again. Has that been connected with? Well, no, not enough. Oh, it's shelled. Opportunity goes begging on the boundary edge, and it's the important one of Sophie Eccleston. I think, is that Charlie Dean on the boundary?
I think it was Freya Kemp.
Was it Freya Kemp? It is. Sorry, my apologies. It just seems in the air for a long time. Set herself perfectly and just misjudged. High catch is always difficult when there's no cloud cover to judge it against, but that could be a valuable opportunity missed by the Vipers.
Yeah, she makes sure she makes no mistake on that occasion, just doing the fielding as Threlkeld gets a single out to deep square leg. That required run rate is at over 12 now. Thunder need to find a couple of boundaries. Shrubsole will have other ideas though, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's been directed well. Kemp's got work to do. In fact, she was only probably 6 or 7 yards away from that. It was firmly hit by Eccleston. And Kemp, who just dropped that chance, can be feeling a little sheepish as that sails towards the boundary for 4 more.
Yeah, looks like Eccleston is certainly targeting that square leg, deep mid-wicket region. She knows she needs boundaries, and she's got the power to clear the ropes in that direction as well.
Oh, this could be trouble. This could be trouble. It's the end finally held. McCacken with the safe pair of hands. One swipe too many for Sophie Eccleston. And she has to make her way back to the hutch for 33.
Yeah, like I said, she was trying to target that leg side boundary, just top edging that, and it's well held in the end by McCacken. Like you said, Daggers, clear blue sky here at New Road. It's never easy when that ball goes up, but McCacken makes no mistake there. And Shrubsole, 2 wickets to her name.
Well, she has to depart, but another clean striker striding towards the middle. Naomi Datani. She can hit a crisp ball. Interesting to see all of those ice towels being placed on the necks of the Vipers fielders as they come together just to try and stay cool.
Yeah, I mean, it will be warm out there, but that's what you want as a cricketer, isn't it? You want to be playing in these conditions.
You got that right. Absolutely right. You ask us to bowl 20 overs in April or 20 overs when the sun's beating down. You don't mind getting a sweat on. Don't want to have to keep putting 3 or 4 jumpers on to try and stay warm. This is much more like it. So Shrubsole 2 for 25 with 2 balls remaining in her spell. And change as well. Left-hander, all important as well. So bowlers just have to adjust that little bit. And Shrubsole's going to kick off round the wicket to Datani. Third and fine, up inside the circle. Long on, deep mid-wicket, deep square on the leg side, patrolling the boundary. Got to be quick. Adams decides to keep hold.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded a shot at the stumps there from Adams, but I think she was aware that no one was really backing up, and I mean, singles are a win for Vipers at this stage, so I guess she just didn't want to risk it.
Just moving long on a little bit wider to a more cow kind of position. And now runs, and 4. Gift really for Ellie Threlkeld. Got into position early. Shrubsole's direction was slightly awry, and a valuable boundary for the Thunder. So 5 overs remain in this eliminator for the right to take on the Blaze in the final. Thunder 131 for 5 require another 61 runs to win. Some more from you, Sophie, and then to take you through to the final deliveries, Mark Church.
Yeah, trademark shot there from Ellie Threlkeld. She accesses square leg so well, usually via the sweep shot, and yeah, Shrubsole just gave her the line there to be able to do that, and she's on to 17 now from just 12 balls.
You know you're getting old when you get out the chair. I've gone in the calf, getting out the chair there.
Do you need to call the physio?
Oh, dear. Cool. Yeah, that was a big wicket of Eccleston, wasn't it? While she was still there, it was still on for the Vipers. But all that experience of Anya Shrubsole, lovely innings from Eccleston. Such a easy striker of the cricket ball. This is nicely played by Datani off Dean. First delivery of this, the 16th over, just opening the face and guiding that deliberately down to the 3rd boundary rope. That's a lovely bit of batting from Naomi Datani. Boundary, so 57 more required for Thunder. It's not impossible, this, at all.
No, like you say, not impossible at all. Still got 5 wickets in hand as well, and you know, these two are very proficient batters as well. They've both scored a lot of runs on the domestic circuit, and yeah, Datani can certainly strike a clean ball.
And tossed up a touch more from Dean, driven back by Datani. Dean does the fielding off her own bowling. With your colour chat that you were having there with Charles, which I found absolutely fascinating, mainly because I was trying to work out what colour Dagnall was, and I couldn't come up with one of the 4 that you said. As Datani here will get a single, cutting this one out towards the sweeper on the cover boundary rope. Is there a colour for a very cool, calm thinker?
Yeah, I think that would be the blue.
So what we need here for Thunder is a bit of red and a bit of blue. You need a bit of that aggression here, but also that cool, calm head, don't you?
Yeah, and I think, I don't know Threlks that well, but I think she would be that cooler, calmer, especially when she was with Eccleston anyway. I presume Eccles is a fiery red.
Driven by Threlkeld. We'll get a single. Good over this from Dean. That boundary off the first ball of the over, but then just a dot and a couple of singles. So 55 for Thunder to win this. All for a place in the final against Blaze. As this one's down the leg side from Dean. I'm not sure that Zatani got any bat on that. It's going to run down towards the boundary rope. Shrubsole goes back to do the retrieval work. Leg buys, yeah, came off the pad, but every run at this stage absolutely vital. 139 for 5. Zatani being out there for 5 deliveries. Drives again, good looking shot, but Georgia Adams gets down really well to her left at mid-off to do the fielding, and it's just a single. So 4 to go, 16 gone, 140 for 5. Thank you to Sophie Luff. Did find that fascinating, the chat about the colours between Sophie and Charles Dagnall. The worm shows Thunder are just behind where they need to be on that worm. Of course, they pulled the Vipers' innings back after that terrific opening partnership between Bouchier and Wyatt of 108. But they're still in this. But it's an ask. 4 overs left, 52 required. Ailish Cranston is back alongside. They were discussing colour charts of. There's a test. I don't know whether you've done it with Surrey and the South East Stars, that if you're a certain colour, that's your main characteristic in your personality. Elvis comes round the wicket. This one's turned by Datani, and coming back for the second as she needs to do. She wants to be on strike. It's good running, putting a bit of pressure on the fielder. Datani gets a couple, moves on to 9.
Yeah, no, we have done it actually. I believe I'm a purple and a green. So
well, to be fair, Sophie Luff and Charles Dagnall never discussed the colours purple and green. So they may have done a different test. Oh, you did do green. Purple never came up in their discussion. As outside edge from Datani, and that'll get over short third. And that's going to run away to the boundary rope for 4. Exactly what Thunder need. Keeps them in it. Datani not where she intended off Elwis, but picks up a boundary. On to 13. Thunder 146 for 5.
yeah, just need to keep going from this point. They got 2 really strong batters out there. I think really good left-hand, right-hand combination. The bowlers have got to be really on it. You never know. You never know.
Big over here would really change things. Datani drives again, but this could be out. Yep, this will be out. It just loops to backward point, and Datani had to keep going there, and she goes for 13. And Alwis has the wicket again, looking to go over extra cover, big outside edge, simple catch, and Datani's little cameo comes to an end. She's gone for 13, and that equation now gets even harder for Thunder, because Datani is making her way back to the dugout, and they are 146 for 6.
It's a pretty tough shot, that, but I guess when you're looking for boundaries, Elvis is coming in, bowling, midland leg. You want to hit it into that leg side, but they've obviously got that packed out with their boundary fielders to look for that boundary option. She's trying to go over to the offside, and I guess Elvis's plan worked out perfectly there.
Yeah, Lindsay Smith with the catch. So out comes Danielle Collins. So what's purple?
Well, so green. I can't remember what.
Oh, here
what
we
ones
are.
Oh, okay.
Sophie
Here we
Love's
go.
found it.
Here we go. So, so green is empathic. So I like
yes,
to think
I can
of
see
others.
that. I can see that. Yes, very much so.
Maybe more than myself sometimes.
Yes.
Yes. And prudent, I guess, is a bit more. You think of the risks more than the rewards.
I think that's a terrific combination. Green and purple. Empathetic and prudent. Collins off the mark, turning this one into the leg side. Shrubsole does the fielding, diving round to her right. The spotlight test, this is called. And Threlkel comes back on to strike the captain on 18. Red obviously is a slightly aggressive tendency in there, I was hearing.
Yeah, so I think I'm the opposite of that one.
Yes, I think you are. That's quite right too. Whatever's the opposite of red, that is definitely you. Whatever's the opposite of red. Yes.
Can be if it needs to be.
If needed. Threlkel. Slog sweeping, that's a very good shot, very controlled, and that's going to run away for 4. It's a super bit of cricket, that. Very controlled shot, that, from Threlkel. She's on to 22 and the 150 comes up for Thunder.
That was a great shot. Elvis, I don't think would have been expecting that. They've just brought that fielder in, and yeah, she just capitalised. Brilliant play there from Ellie Threlkel.
Yeah, really, really good shot. Didn't overhit it. Checked it, whistled away for 4. Trying the little ramp on this occasion is Threlkel. Gets absolutely nothing on that. And it's a dot ball for the end of the over. So, Dean has 1 for 25 off her 3. 3 to go for Thunder. 41 required. And Ailish Cranston, if you're being sensible about this, if you're the Vipers, if you'd said to the Vipers, this is the equation at the start of play, they'd have said, thank you very much, we'll have that. But it's still not impossible here for Thunder to find 41 off 3. I think it wasn't a bad over that. They lost the wicket, but there were runs in it. I think they need a big over now.
Yeah, I think this is definitely the over. They don't want to be leaving it too late. You don't want too many off that final over, although that's definitely going to happen at this stage. But it's interesting here. I thought they might go Dean to try and kill the game, but they brought Georgia Adams on, so I think the batters will be looking to try and get the most runs they can off this over.
Yep, this is the over. To give themselves a hope, Thunder, they need a big over here. So Collins on strike, the 18th over. This for a place, of course, in the final against the Blaze, who've had a lovely route into the final today. As round the wicket goes Adams. First one there, turned and bounced. So that's not going to make life any easier for Thunder. That's a lovely bit of bowling from Georgia Adams.
Yeah, it was a great start. We're just seeing here, square legs coming in, long ons going out. So we'll see what she does here. Maybe she might try and get across and sweep this one.
Collins is coming down the pitch. Adams sees her going, pushes it wider. Wide is the signal. It's a lovely bit of keeping. Fountain behind the stumps. I don't think Georgia Adams was best pleased with that decision of wide, actually. But wide was the signal. So still 5 balls to go in this 18th over. 40 needed. Reverse sweep is out. And it's played pretty well by Collins because it's going to spin off the turf on the outfield. And she'll get back for 2. So Collins moves on to 3. 1, 5, 4 for 6 now, the Thunder. Little reminder, that target for them to win this. 192. Using her feet on this occasion is Collins. Hasn't got all of this. We'll get a single down towards long on. One more to the total. I've got it in my head now what colour I would be. I think I'd be a dull brown. That would be me. Boring.
I think you're being a bit harsh on yourself.
Dull brown.
What about a yellow? A yellow's very optimistic.
Yeah, I can be optimistic. It depends. Threlkel Down the pitch plays this one straight back up the pitch to Adams. So Adams, this is a good over from her. She knew they were probably going to be going after her in this over. And so far it's only gone for 4. And there are 2 to go. Threlkeld sweeps again, powerfully for 4. We've played a couple of those now. That absolutely whistles away to the mid-wicket boundary rope for 4. Handy boundary at a handy time. Taking it from outside off stump. Very good shot again.
Great shot from Threlkeld. Oh, not sure. Something's crashed. Something's crashed.
That was Charles Dagnall trying to work out what his colour is.
Yeah, I think Ellie's going to want to take the majority of the strike here and just keep going.
Threlkeld pulls this one that was shorter of length. Now there could be 2 here. No, just the single. I think it's a good decision from Threlkeld. And she'll be on strike for the start of the 19th over. But actually, that is a pretty good over from Georgia Adams. Yep, a couple of boundaries in it, but it means it's 32 off 2. For Thunder, Threlkeld on 27. Collins 4. And just that worm it's agonisingly close. That Thunder line is agonisingly close to the Vipers line at the moment.
Yeah, I think that was actually a really, really good over from Georgia Adams there. She's really put her team in the front seat here. Just looking, it might be Anya Shrubsole or Charlie Dean. There's about 4 or 5
it's a committee meeting.
People having a stand around, but this will be the over that they'll look to kill the game. So yeah, Charlie Dean's on here. She's obviously bowled brilliantly so far. Not gone for many, taking a wicket. So yeah, I think the batters are just going to have to be. There's some big gaps out there. I still think aiming into the leg side's a strong option. Just got to find those gaps and get the boundaries.
Well, she's bowled beautifully, but spin for the 19th over. This will be interesting. Threlkeld on strike. Oh, straight down the pitch, and has missed that completely, but it's going to run away down to the boundary rope for 4. Basically, Threlkeld has sprinted at that and run straight past it, but they all count. They all count. It's turned, and they all count. That'll be 4 byes. Won't mind how they come. And that gets it down to 28 required off 11 balls. Threlkeld driving this time, but doesn't get it past the inner ring, and that will just be a single. Charlie Dean will settle for that. Vipers will settle for that. It's not over yet. 27 required off 10. And back onto strike comes Collins. Left and right hand combination is not a bad one at this point.
They have got a mid-off in. I wonder if she'll look to come down and just hit over there as an option.
Down the pitch, picks it up on the full, drills it down towards long on, just the single again, which is exactly what the Vipers will be happy with. Brings Threlkeld back on to strike on 28. 9 deliveries to go, 26 required. Reverse sweep is out, and that's gone past the edge, and that's a dot ball, and that is a huge delivery in this over. Could see the thinking there, because Shrubsole's on the edge of the circle there at third. Get anything on that, and it could run away for 4, but it's nice control from Dean. Nicely taken behind the sticks as well by Fountain. Threlkeld uses the feet, drives, brilliant work up at mid-off. Again, it's Georgia Adams up there because Threlkeld struck that really firmly. And if that had got past Georgia Adams, that would have been away for 4, but it's just a single, and this is turning out to be a brilliant over from Charlie Dean. Whoever's bowling the last is going to have quite a bit to play with now. 1 ball to go of this, the penultimate over, and Collins drives straight back to Dean. That is high-class bowling from Charlie Dean. It really is. And okay, 4 byes in there, but actually just 3 off the over in terms of runs off the bat, and it means Thunder will need 25 off the final over.
Charlie Dean seemed very happy with that. As you saw, she was skipping down the wicket after she bowled that over. Yeah, she's done a great job for her team. And looks like, they've gone for pace off again for the final over. Just looks tough for the batters to try and get it away when there's not as much pace on the ball. So I think this is a good option for the Vipers. And yeah, Georgia Adams has got 25 to play with.
She has. Here we go then. 25 needed off the last over. Threlkeld's down the pitch, swings this one into the leg side. They'll have to come back for 2. They will come back for 2. But again, Vipers will be happy with that. Anything but boundaries. 5 balls to go. And 23 required by Thunder for a place in the final against the Blaze at 4 o'clock. Threlkeld swings this one high in the air. She could go here. She will go here. She's got a fair amount of that. But the catch is simply taken by Danny Wyatt. And with that wicket goes Thunder's chances, you feel. With 4 balls left in the game, Threlkeld goes for 31. Thunder are 169 for 7. And they still require 23 off 4 deliveries.
Threlkeld did a great job for her team there. She definitely kept them in it. Had a really good partnership with Eccleston. But yeah, just not quite enough. But no, she did a really good captain's innings there. And yeah, well, looks like Vipers are very much in a winning position right now.
Absolutely. And you have to say they've been very good with both bat and ball so far. That 108 run partnership at the top of the innings from Wyatt and Bouchier was outstanding. The interesting thing is the Blaze sort of arrived a couple of hours ago. They've had their feet up all morning, having a nice little watch of this now. They've had a bit of a hit. They haven't been out there in the sun as yet. Norris is the new batter, but just pushed out into the offside. It'll just be a single, so this is going to be a good win for the Vipers, who of course are defending this trophy. Charlotte Edwards, of course, in charge of the Vipers. Will she be handing the cup to herself? As this is swung high in the air by Collins, and it's a terrific catch. It really is from Elwes. That's her second terrific grab in this innings. Took a cracker at backward point, and that took some catching as well. Running back over her shoulder, and she hangs on to that out the blue sky. And this is a very good over as well from Georgia Adams. And you have to say, these last couple of overs have been terrific from the Vipers. And they are going to be playing the Blaze in the final, Ailish Cranston.
Yeah, no, they've been absolutely clinical. Don't expect anything less from the Vipers. They've been brilliant. Just making it so hard for the Thunder batters. I think they put up a brilliant effort to get to 170. They've had some, Fee Morris batted really well. Like I said, Sophie Eccleston, Deandra Dottin had a little cameo as well. But yeah, it's unfortunately just not quite enough. I think that 191 was just always going to be a tough total to get.
Absolutely, and I'll go back to what I said. If you get the opening pair sticking 108 on the board for you, I'll give you a platform and a comfort blanket. So Makika Gore is out there, and her first delivery, she's swinging into the leg side. They'll probably get a couple here. They will get a couple here, but just the 1 ball to go. So Southern Vipers have got themselves into the final, and they have now got a proper chance of defending their title. It's going to be a big ask against a Blaze side that haven't lost in any comp this season. Last ball of the game, and they'll just take a slow, respectful single, and that is the Southern Vipers into the final to play the Blaze. They win this by 18 runs, and it has been an outstanding performance from them. And Ailish Cranston, exactly what you said there. Clinical is the word, isn't it?
Yeah, just clinical. They took, to be fair, actually, no, they did drop a couple of catches on the boundary, but they took some outstanding catches as well, so they sort of made up for those. The bowlers did their job. They were consistently bowling great lines on the stumps, and yeah, unfortunately the Thunder just couldn't quite make it over the line.
The nature of this, though, of course, is they only get the hour now to put their feet up, and then they're up against the Blaze, who, as I say, quite rightly, they've done what they had to do. They top the group, or top the table, so you go straight into the final, which means you get a very nice restful morning going into that final. What do you think Vipers have to do to beat Blaze?
I think they better get some electrolytes on board. They'll be thirsty.
That'll
It's a
be
hot
the first
day
thing,
out
and some
there.
lunch.
But just same again, they batted with really good intent and they bowled brilliantly at the stumps. So if they can do that again, they'll put themselves in good stead.
Well, the players are down there at the moment, and off they come. Southern Vipers. It's a funny one, this, isn't it? Because you know what this is like. You sort of got yourself into the final. You're delighted about that, but you've got to calm down now, haven't you? You can't get too overexcited. You've got to sort of do it all again in an hour.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you look at the last 2 years of the Charlotte Edwards Cup, the team that has gone straight through to the final have won. So I think, like I said, Blaze, they'll be a bit fresher in the legs. But having said that, Vipers, they've played on the wicket. They know what it's like. They know what the outfield's like. So I think, the advantages outweigh each other. But I think it'll be a brilliant game. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's the other thing, though. The Blaze aren't going to be cold because nobody is today. But at least Vipers have been out there in the middle. They know what the pitch is doing. They've got batters in nick who've made runs already. They've got their game plan all sorted out. So yeah, it's a sort of double-edged sword. I think on a day like today, though, I think the Blaze have had a nice morning. I saw them sort of arriving a couple of hours ago, strolling in, sort of getting their kit down, and then wandering over to the nets, which are up towards the cathedral, away to our right-hand side, and just having a little hit over there and getting themselves warmed up. The other thing that they're able to do, Blaze, of course, is have a watch of that Eliminator and get an idea of the pace of the pitch and how both sides went about it. So the Blaze will now be getting their heads on, ready to go. So down there away to our left, I think Mr. Chris Temple is ready, and I think he's going to have a chat with Thunder captain and get the thoughts of the Thunder. Let's hear from Chris Temple.
We're ready to hear from both captains and the Charlotte Edwards Cup player of the match. First of all, I'm joined by the Thunder captain, Ellie Threlkeld.
It was a good pitch, and credit to the way Dan and Maya batted for them. I think they batted really well and posted a really good total, but I was pleased with the effort to try and chase that down, and I think we were just beaten by the better team today.
Obviously they got off to a great start. You put them into bat. I mean, what were you thinking about that after 10 overs when they were almost 100?
I was questioning my decision, to be honest, but look, I was really proud of the bowlers. They caught it back really well, and we were pretty happy with their total at half time, and we believe we could chase it down, but obviously just fell a little bit short in the second innings.
Were you just short of that key partnership? For you had a few sort of good starts to partnerships, but were you short of that one key partnership?
Yeah, definitely. I think their innings showed when you get two batters going, it's pretty difficult to stop, and I think that's definitely what we were missing today.
Overall, though, how would you sum up this competition?
Yeah, I'm really proud of the way the girls have come back after a tough start, and obviously to get here to final stage for the first time is really special. I'm really proud of the way they've gone about the business, and unlucky to fall short today, but I'll definitely be praising them in that dressing room, and I'm proud of the character they've shown to get here.
We'll let you go and do that, Ellie. Well done. Congratulations on reaching finals day. Thunder captain Ellie Threlkeld. Let's bring in the winning captain, Southern Vipers, Georgia Adams. Georgia, your hand is still on the trophy. You're through to the final. How would you describe that performance from your side?
Yeah, I think that was excellent. Obviously, Danny and Maya at the top there, that was sensational from them to get us off to a start like that and have a big partnership. It set up the game really, and a really good team performance as well. I thought it was a good wicket, so I thought we bowled brilliantly to defend on that.
Yeah, did they come back well when you were batting? Because at halfway it looked like you might be pushing 200 and more.
Yeah, what a roller coaster ride. But no, it was a brilliant semi-final actually. That's what you want, and they were going pretty well as well. We never felt like it was done and dusted. I thought they played really well. So to get over the line there and the spinners bowled the way they did at the end was brilliant.
And what's the plan now for the next hour or so?
recover and go again.
Eat. I've just heard someone shout in the background. I think that might have been our player of the match. Thank you very much, Georgia. We'll see you very shortly indeed. It's time to announce the Charlotte Edwards Cup semi-final player of the match, which has been chosen by the commentary team today. We're delighted to welcome the ECB's Director of the Women's Professional Game, Beth Barrett-Wild, who will present the award, a magnum of Chapel Down sparkling wine and a player of the match award. 2 for an innings of 76 from 50 balls, Southern Vipers' Danny Wyatt. Danny, just a quick word, because I know you've got to go and prepare as well. You wanted a drink, you want some food. It was tough going out there in the field, but you set it up very well with your innings.
Yeah, it was a beautiful pitch out there, and thought Maya took the pressure off me at the other end. She batted exceptionally well there, so hopefully we can go again in the final now.
How important was it for you to be involved today? You've actually played quite a big part in this competition, of course, but not every England player is able to be here today.
Yeah, we've been doing test match prep, but yeah, when they said we're available, then obviously I wanted to play and do my bit for the team today.
How easy is that switch from test match prep to come down here and smack a quick 76?
Well, you know, for me it's all about keep working on the basics, so just try and switch that mindset and get out there and back myself.
Go and put that on ice in case you need it later on. Our Chapel Down and Charlotte Edwards Cup semi-final player of the match is Danny Wyatt of the Southern Vipers. So our toss for the final between Vipers and Blaze is just over 30 minutes away, and that match due to get underway at 4 o'clock.